we come. Good morning, good afternoon, and evening. Hi, Rika. Thank you so much for joining me today, yet again, on day 7 of studying. I know it's like, Tippa, you haven't stopped for 7 days. Yeah, that's how the counting works. But I am happy to say that today is the last day of my finals. It is my last cramming. It is crazy to think in about the next 4 to 5 months I will be basically rinse and repeating the same process, but this time it'd be like my last finals, which is honestly like, oh my goodness. So we'll go ahead and see how that goes. But thank you guys for joining me today. We are almost there. The light is at the end of the tunnel. Tomorrow we will get back to our gaming arc. You don't have to ever hear me talk about notes again. You don't have to hear me talk about the notes or talk out the notes. There you go. For the rest of the year, we'll be free to game and do as we please. So I'm looking very, very forward to that. But to be honest, cuz I'm like, I need this exam to be over with. I think I saw Sunny earlier ask like, what how do you call it, when's the exam? My exam is in about 5 hours from now, so at 7 p.m. EST. Oh, what time zone are we in right now? EST, EDT. Yes, EDT. God, I hope I'm blanking right now, but yes, that will be the time frame that I take the exam, and I am done. I took an exam yesterday if you cubs were here as well, and I haven't got the results back for that one. I feel pretty okay with that. Like, I felt good. I felt like I passed, but I couldn't give you a number. She said she'll put it up the grades as soon as she can, but it's already been like, you know, almost 24 hours, so I'm patiently waiting. But thank you, Mondo. Thank you, Gamer. I appreciate it. Thank you. I wish you the best of luck on your finals. Thank you. I'm gonna need it. I need all the luck. But yeah, let me go ahead and say my highs and my hellos, and we'll get to it, because right now my goal, this is a goal. This doesn't have to happen, but I'd like to go to the gym again today. Normally I go with one of my friends, but we are both like, they work from home today, and I'm like, Gamer, don't drive. Don't drive all the way out here to like go. I'm like, yeah, I have an exam, so we came like to chat afterwards, because sometimes like, because we do HIIT, like the high intensity training or high interval intensity, oh my gosh, what, I'm finding out the abbreviation. This high intensity blank training, huh? I don't even know what I do anymore. Sorry, cubs. That's how like melted my brain is as of lately. I can't even remember like the simplest things, which is so sad. But normally we do the treadmill right after, and we just like yap, because during that whole like 45 minutes of just doing like working out, we're not talking to each other. We're just like, oh, good job, or yep, this sucks. Oh, another burpee, damn. And so we politely normally catch up. So, but because I have my exam at 7 and the class ends at 6:45, I'm like, look, listen, I know I'm gonna be late. I was planning to leave the class early anyway to make it. Which, by the way, really quick before I say my hellos, I went to the gym yesterday, cubs, and guess what? Even though it was a full class, 10 people didn't show up. So, so even though I did the very immoral thing, and I did think that was not correct, because I did not sign up for the class, but they do allow walk-ins. Lady Luck was on my side, and it was so nice because I got to partner up with the girl squad, which are women of varying ages. And these are the people I see most of the time anyway, so it's like, oh my gosh, we're actually all in a group all at once. This is crazy. And then we actually started conversating. This is crazy. We're bonding. So if I get to see them today, great. And if I don't, well, I mean, I have an exam, so that definitely takes priority. It's not like I can't go throughout the week any other time, but I was like, ooh, but if I go today. But that's saying if I finish somehow in the next 3.5 hours. But we'll see. But yeah, let me say my hellos now. Hi, Rivo. Hi, welcome. Let's go. We're going. Hi, Pata. Hi, Gamer. Thank you so much for the self-care checks. I'm going to put an IOU. I promise. I looked at it. I'm like, okay, let's do this. I will definitely revisit them as soon as I get started on the readings again. Oh my goodness. Oh, hey, welcome. Finish strong, Galmer. I'm trying, but like my brain is like The worst part is that my classmate reached out to me because I shared this guide with her. Well, I shared the guide with him like my little small group, and she's like, I like your guide. I'm like, you know what? Thank you. It means a lot. She's like, I really like the tables. I'm like, brother, I live off tables. But yeah, I might have been cheating the system a little bit, but that's to be mentioned later. Anyway, and so I'm like, I hope your exams have been good. She's like, yeah, they have. I passed all of them so far. And she's like, but I'm actually the most worried about this one. And I said, wow, I can't really offer any supporting words because I'm also worried about this one. Yeah. This is the one that's probably going to be like the easiest, but like the most, like, we haven't really got like the most direct content. It's like, but Tippa, isn't this like a whole study guide your like professor provided and you made it pretty? Yeah, but like I had to fight for some of it. It's a whole story where the guy gave us, like, if you guys already heard or didn't hear, basically the guy gave us, my professor, respect, gave us a study guide, and he was like, yeah, this is all cumulative. And I'm like, sir, this only goes up to like half the semester. This is like for the first exam or like our midterm review. Where's the other half? And he's like, well, the study guide is complimentary, you don't even need it, but I do have some notes that I took when I was a student. And it was just 20 extra pages of just things in a list, and I was like, oh my god. This is absolutely miserable to read. Like, if I could show you guys what it looked like, I would, but it was just miserable. I was like, okay, it's whatever. Anyway, so we're gonna make the most through it, for sure. I think all the questions will be pretty simple. Thankfully, I that's what I'm hoping. I don't really see myself failing, and the first exam I was also really worried about. I mean, I'm worried about all the exams, but this class doesn't have like a lot of direction. And so I'm just like, oh, but I gotta be in that one. Like, how badly can I fail this one, basically? And that's not really a good like point of view to have ever, but I have that luxury to be like, hey, even if I get a low D for, oh my god, who knows, whatever reason, hey, I could probably still pass the class, so yay! Again, maybe not the best mindset, but it is a mindset. But I will stay strong. Hi, Rinse. Hi, welcome. Hi, Seth. Hi, welcome, Gamer. Hi, Luna. Hi, welcome. Hi, Sunny. Hi, welcome. Just to reiterate, the exam is in about 5 hours, so I only have so much time here in my existence here on twitch.tv for today before I'm like, okay, cuz exam, or okay, cuz I want to go work out. Hi, Bata. Hi, Gamer again. Thank you so much for that 10th stream streak. Thank you, Gamer. Thank you. It do be growing again. That it do be. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I appreciate it. Hi, Karma. Hi. Tipanya. Hi, Gamer. Welcome. Oh my goodness. Tippa heavy exams content? Thank goodness some cubs think that. Sometimes I'm kind of like, but I appreciate it. I honestly do always appreciate the company and whatnot, because I'm not gonna lie to you cubs. I think if I never discovered this way of like streaming and studying and all this, I would probably be miserable. So I'm glad I found a method that works for me, and I hope that anyone studying finds a method that works for them. Teehee, haha. The D is for daylight savings? Yeah, I really couldn't come up with it. I really did not remember. I was like, what? Are we in standard time? I don't remember. S for spring? I don't know. Like, standard? Nice. Anyway. Yeah, I do feel like I passed. So yesterday's exam, by the way, was for pediatrics, so that's why we were going over some pediatric notes yesterday, and then we had a little bit of extra time, which is why if you were here yesterday, you saw maybe some geriatric notes, so yay. But that's all to say, basically, it was a 30-question exam, and it was 3 cases, 10 questions each, and I felt pretty good about one. I was like, oh, this coordinated, oh my gosh, the developmental coordination disorder. I was like, oh, I feel great about that one. All 10 questions, great. Cerebral palsy, there was like one thing where they asked about an orthotic, and I was like, sure, it has to be this one, right? And then the other one was torticollis, that one with the unilateral shortening of the neck muscle of the sternocleidomastoid, or the SCM. And I was like, we talked about this a lot, but then I was like, oh no, they also have plagiocephaly, so I'm like trying to like rotate my head and imagine how the baby looks, and I was a little iffy about one of the interventions, which influenced the next question right afterwards. So either I got both right or I got none right. No in between. But like I said, she's supposed to get the grade in eventually, so Teehee. I'll let you cubs know about that. I didn't really do the math, but because I scored really well on the pediatrics final, like I scored, and again I'm very happy to share the score of an 87. I think even if somehow I fail this case example, like even if I got like half of it right, I will still be okay average wise of passing the course. Or I like to believe if I did my math right, and I'm not really good at math, so we'll see. But yeah, go to the gym, even if it's to keep up the habit. Yeah, no. I understand that, and I know that, and I've been going since June. Don't you worry a pretty hair on your head, gamer. But the issue is just it's really close to my exam when I get out of the class. So like I could skip the warm-up and then give myself that 20-minute leeway. I could take an exam sweaty, it's fine. Who needs a shower? So like, you know, I feel more comfortable with like a 20-minute leeway than the 15 because I definitely still have to commute back home. So we'll see where that goes, or which where today takes us. But yeah, today I'm supposed to take my high intensity interval training. Thank you so much, Pata. For whatever reason, I'm like, HIIT has 2 T's, and I'm like, brother, I've been defining this because I really enjoy the class and have been going for months now. But again, brain is blanking. So sad. But yeah, Sunny says going after the exam feels good. No, I can't. So the gym will come before the exam. Why? So they have a policy about having the exams at 7, and this is the assumption that the hybrid students work like a normal day job, basically like a 8 to 5, or I guess a 12 to 7, I guess, and then maybe if they work from home, they could just automatically switch or something. But there's like a general consensus of like, yeah, you should probably not be working like at 7. So that's where all exams have been scheduled. Unfortunately, my class starts at 6. For the gym, so I'm kind of like, no. But it's okay. Even if I don't get to go today, I was planning on Thursday and Friday, so it's daijou booty. But Hyper goes, hi, welcome on in, welcome. And hi, oh my goodness, hi Atomic, hi. Thank you for the peekers. Vanya at the gym, let's go. Honestly, it felt so nice. I was so happy. Hi Trick, hi, welcome. Gamer, good luck on the final. Thank you, Gamer, for the 3 stream shake. I appreciate it, baby, very much. Thank you for our time, Solani, and thank you, Atomic, for the stream shake as well. Thank you for the 5. Thank you. May you 5 times the confidence on your final tonight, brother. I'm gonna need it. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Gal, hi FTW, welcome. Daijou booty is now part of my vocab. Thanks, no problem. Let's pull out the typo vocab. Alright, cubs, we have politely doing anything. We have man, we have horse on a beach, we have brother. What else do I say? Gao. Yeah. I do something. Oh, gamer. Thank you so much for the redeem. It's gonna take me a hot minute, so let me just die. Oh my goodness. Last one, you got this? Hi JB, thank you so much, I appreciate it. It is the last one. Wait, shoot. I forgot this one is a little bit wacky. Hold on. So I was making sure that the source didn't share. Hi. Oh, is it because Leopard's still doing this? Hold on. Alright, where am I? Oh, hello, cubs. Hello. What's a good height? Do my hands look proportionate? Do I need to be a little bit bigger? Does that look good? Do I look too big? Here, maybe here. But I feel like if I open my hands would be the size of my face. I guess that's normal, right? There's no in between. But that's okay, it's fine, it's whatever. I was actually gonna wear this outfit yesterday, so thank you so much for the redeem, I appreciate it. I was gonna wear it yesterday, but because who was it? Some cop called me a baby. I'm like, oh, I'll dress up as a baby, alright, and then talk about pediatrics, and then that's some weird psycho thing, I'm sure. But definitely I'm happy that I get to wear the outfit. Plus, I really want to wear the outfit because Nydia drew some really pretty art that's on my schedule right now, so I wanted to honor that. But thank you so much for the redeem, Burgos. I appreciate it. You love this outfit, so cute. Thank you, gamer. Oh my goodness. FTW, by the way, thank you so much for the 10 stream streak. Thank you. Oh no, 66.6k channel points? Not so bad. Not so bad. Hi, pals. Hi, gamer. Gamer. Welcome on in. Welcome. Personal space Tipa. That's me. That's me. Alright, gamers, let's get to this because we have to, and we only have so much time, and blah 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 blah. So let's do our best, okay? Okay. So, where am I? I feel like there's some other stuff I had to say. No, not coming to mind. No, alright, we'll continue. So, oh wait, the self-care checks. Okay, Pata, thank you from like, let me scroll. 20 minutes ago! Thank you so much for the hydrate. Let me go ahead and hydrate. Oh. Thank you. Thank you for the inhalation of air. Let me enter the nose, out to the mouth. And thank you so much for the posture check. I will squeeze my shoulder blades. No rounded posture for me, please. And thank you. And we're so good. Alright, Cubs. So, as I mentioned, as it's in the title, we are studying geriatrics today. If you're unfamiliar with geriatrics, absolutely no hecking worries. Me too, which is why I'm reading off my study guide. I'm just kidding. So geriatrics is going to be a study of older people. So basically, stuff we're going to be talking about and stuff that we did talk about a little bit yesterday towards the end of the pediatric stream was basically how our body changes as we get older, you know? And I know getting older doesn't really sound exciting for some, but it's still a thing that we go through. Hee. But as a for a 17-year-old, I don't have to worry about it. For others though, yikes. Anyway. But we'll be going through a variety of information right now. Where we last left off was like the changes that we have when we get older. Before we talked about the theories of aging, and I'm trying to think of something else. Thank you for the headband. Thank you, Conan. Hi, welcome. I'm trying to. I don't really remember the topic, so we'll just kind of see them as we go. So I hope that's okay. But Conan, welcome, gamer. Not to put you on the spot. I want you to know that I updated the Study Club Bees forum and I put a bunch of tags, and if you have any suggestions, just to let me know. Teehee. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my tip talk and welcome on in. Baby says don't forget to get your exams next of kin tonight before Slay It. Wait, huh? Next of kin? Huh? What? What? Karma, thank you so much for the 3 stream streak. Thank you, gamer. Thank you. I thought geriatrics was about studying Jerry from Tom and Jerry. Brother, wait, did you get inspired by that one post that was circling around? Oh, don't make me dig through my own Twitter likes. I like so many things recently though. Something about gerrymandering. It's like a post of like English wasn't their first language, so they're like, oh, I thought gerrymandering was like, you know, Jerry would like a Mandarin. So I'm like, huh? Oh, you haven't seen it? I'm gonna try to find it, and if I can't find it, I mean, I'm already scrolling so much. Why do I have so many likes? I've been chronically on Twitter. If I'm not studying, I've been scrolling through Twitter aimlessly, being like, okay, whatever. And if I can't find it, I'll eventually find it, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, this is what I was talking about on stream. Isn't this so quirky, so cool? I wish I sent this to someone because I thought it was so funny, and it would be much easier to, like, you know, search these things through messaging or the messenger rather than me scrolling through my likes being like, yep, I hope it's here. My sense of timing is also pretty bad, so I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I liked it recently. It was like a month ago. Ah, okay. Oh, I found it! Yay! Hold on, I'm gonna save it so I could show you Cubs. What is this image? Oh good, it's nothing. Oh goodness, it's so big. Ugh. See? Blah blah blah! Gerrymandering, blah blah blah! Huh? I've never heard of that word before. What does it mean? So good. I think it's just the expression really sells it to me. So I'm like, oh, were you influenced by this post? In a sense, because I, how do you call it? I don't feel like I've heard Tom and Jerry for a long time. And now I recently heard it. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be the back of my head. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyway. Study club looks good. You need to post about your reading goal? Gamer, I believe in you. But also take it easy because it's the end of the year, so Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I was like, what? Huh? What? Huh? Okay, I can't be on social media right now. Anyway, so yeah, let's talk about the different changes and whatever category comes our way. That's truly what it is. But then, Gamer, thank you so much for lurking. I appreciate it. Thank you. So, guess what, Cubs? As we age, dun dun dun, our skin changes. So we're gonna focus on the integumentary system, which is basically our skin. Yeah, unfortunately, your skin gets wrinkles and it sags and blah 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 blah. But that's kind of just the beauty of aging, you know. And obviously, people age differently for a variety of factors. But like, I don't know if you Cubs have seen this, and we'll talk about this right now, but photoaging effects. Prolonged UV radiation exposure can cause early signs of aging. So I don't know if I could find this really easily, but let's see. Let me see if I could find this so I could talk about this. Oh, yeah! Okay, so there was this article, let me see, can I read this? So it was about like a trucker, like, and this was back in 2012, of truck driver face. And basically what happens is that when truck drivers drive, they do their job. Apparently it tends to have like, how do you say it? Sun only, their skin being exposed, or one half of the face being exposed to the sunlight. And as you see right here, prolonged UV radiation exposure can cause early signs of aging. So people who tend to be like really out and about without using SPF tend to age a little bit faster. But I'm going to show you a picture of what this guy's face looks like. Old man jump scare. So look at this. So let's focus, I guess, not on his left or right, more like our lefts and our rights. So here on his left side, you see, yeah, that's an old man, all right. But look at the right side. Look at how like these folds and these wrinkles, because of that prolonged sun exposure, the UV radiation. So it's really crazy to be like, oh my gosh, the perfect half, really. So yeah, wear your sunscreen, gamers. I don't care if you don't like the texture on your face. I don't care. Put it on. Or you can have like a UV umbrella. You know, some people get like, and I'm sure you've seen, some people get very adamant about how they get exposed to the sun. For, well, a variety of reasons. People, well, you know, some people like paler skin, and then some people do it because of aging and blah 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 blah. Or just don't go outside, exactly. But always put SPF if you go outside. I don't care if it's a cloudy day, the sun rays still go through the clouds. The clouds are not powerful enough, okay? Okay. Anyway. Conan says goal is to read my ever-expanding TTRPG collection. It's a bad one. Not winning. Ow. Sorry, gamer. Gotta stay inside to avoid the sun? No. No one is safe. Not even me right now with my, like, window. But yeah. Yeah. But I put sunscreen because I went out because I worked today. Teehee. But yeah, as you would imagine, there will be thermal changes, and thermal referring to, again, the skin and the layers, and that there's a decrease of thermal thickness due to the flattening of the junction. So basically, your skin gets thin. Because of a variety of reasons, there's a decrease in cell thickness, vascularity, so like the blood supply that gets in there, and a degeneration of elastic fibers, so that's when your skin starts to droop a little bit. For skin function changes, you know, there's going to be altered permeability, so what is able to be permitted or go in and out of the layers, decreased like elasticity, decreased vitamin D production, which is supposed to be good for the skin, and delayed wound healing, which is a huge thing. So I am a huge, again, ever since I've been emotionally scarred, ever since I've been scarred about what pressure sores look like, I think about the older people who don't get moved around a lot at a nursing home because it's like abuse and whatever, like they just don't move them, and they end up having too much pressure on, let's say, their butt bones, and then they open a wound and whatever, and that's not getting the proper care. And if they have incontinence issues, so they're peeing themselves or fecal matter, that's a whole nother ball game and variety that I'm adding into this. Basically, all to say, like, how gross will that wound be, basically, because it's already gonna take them a hot minute to like get the wound to close, especially depending on the severity. But the older you get, the not as fast wound healing you have, you know. Man, just don't look at pressure sores. that whole class that I had, the class who scarred me was basically all about wound care, and I'm like, brother, you're literally flashing gore at me. Thank goodness for the years of internet, am I right? Like, I don't know. Anyway, you generally considering a parasol? Do it! Well, you see, I'm not really sure the difference between a regular parasol, and I know some people are selling like UV parasols, but I haven't determined if that's just like a scam or there is actually like an extra layer. But yeah, no, I could recommend it. I know when I was on long bouts of being outside, which I haven't done in a hot minute, I would use a parasol, but actually I invested in a sun hat. So I look so cute, and I have a cute accessory on, and I don't have to worry about anything or holding because it's on my head. Anyway. Excuse me, did you cubs hear that? That was like a hiccup. Anyway. Jamie says that the clouds are water and the water is supposed to be healthy for me. Why is the sky water not strong enough to protect me from the sun? That's a question for someone else. Karma says people look younger nowadays than ever before because the amount of sunlight we're getting is so much lower. Also, sunscreen usage is more widespread. It is. It really is. I get complimented a lot for my Forever 17 age. I had a story where I got carded and they're like, no way. And I'm like, what? I was like, you're flattering me so much. But I feel like it was really weird because the girl who's checking my card was like, I look older than you. Like, there's no way. Like, there's no way you're this. I'm like, okay. So see, sunscreen and skincare and all that good stuff, you know? But yeah, for hair and gland changes, there's going to be a decreased number in hair follicles. That's why you see in older people their hair is thinning, or maybe they have patches or hair loss. Oh my gosh, what is... I'm like acne, and I'm like, no way. Maybe? I don't know. Hold on. Let me clarify before I start telling you cubs lies. Oh, it's just oily substance. Yeah, I feel like this is associated with like acne. But yeah, the sebum? Is that how you say it? I've never had to say that out before. Yeah, but reduce sebum production so your skin's not as oily, and reduce eccrine glands. So basically, you don't really produce as much sweat, and you have to be really careful because of course you're kind of like, oh yeah, I'm no longer a sweaty gamer. You have to realize that sweating allows us to do heat regulation, so you might be more prone to a heat stroke. So yeah, oh look, risk of heat stroke, yay! Reduce sweat gland function increases the risk for heat stroke in older adults. I'm like a future teller. Wait, fortune teller. I can look into the future. I may have gone through this and I unconsciously thought of it. Sorry, gamers. Anyway, so there's some subcutaneous fat changes, so you don't really have as much fat. I don't think I've ever seen a chunky older person before. I feel like a lot of them are very thin and frail, and that's not to like stereotype them by any means. I just don't think I've ever seen someone like that. And what happens is that with that decreased fat and them having really like thin, fragile appearance, it means it also affects their thermal regulation, so they're not able to regulate the temperature of their body as well. And shock absorption, if they have a really bad fall, they might have a really bad fall. Like they might end up breaking something. As you imagine, there's going to be an increased risk of different kind of skin conditions the older that you get. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to vision. Excuse me, I don't know how to say a few of these words, so I do apologize. But presbyopia? So this, what happens with this is that there's a loss of lens elasticity, which is going to result in decreased focus. So this is why around the age of 40, if you don't already need glasses, not me, but maybe when I'm 40, you might need some reading glasses. Your vision is deteriorating just because of this loss of elasticity in the lens. So you're not able to focus as well. For accommodation visually, the eye's focusing abilities decrease with age, and there's a greater accommodative demand when the print is held closer, or like during computer use. That's why there's a whole little joke like with older adults of like their text messages have to be like super zoomed in, and like even you from like 20 feet away can like read their message and you're like, what? So how do we assess vision? I'm sure all of you cubs are familiar with my friend, the Snellen chart, and if you haven't seen one because the name sounds really not familiar, I don't blame you, because I also did not know the name of it until I got into grad school. Yay! But this is your Snellen chart basically, and how they assess like vision. So I think you're legally blind if you can only read like the first line. Everything else, it depends. So you should be able, I think from, what was it, like 20 feet? Be able to read this, and that's when you have 20/20 vision? Something like that. I'm sorry, cubs. I actually don't have glasses, so I don't go to the optometrist often. I don't have the need, so maybe I'm not the best person speaking about this, but these are the different ways you can, these are the different ways that the vision is graded. Teehee! There could be a peripheral vision loss. Peripheral meaning like off to the side, and this can be caused due to glaucoma. Glaucoma, I feel like, is a pretty common word we tend to hear, and it's basically a group of eye diseases that could damage the optic nerve, which is one of our cranial nerves, and that's going to end up leading to vision loss and blindness. We get central vision loss, so basically like the center of your vision is missing. I don't know how to explain it. Think of like a donut hole, or I like a donut. And you know how it has like the little hole? Oh, it's a donut? Yeah. Think of that hole that's missing is your vision being missing, but you can see everything else around it, just not there. Hence the term central vision loss. And this can be caused by macular degeneration. And so this is going to be a disease that's going to damage this part of our eye, the macula, and that part of the retina that controls that center vision. Like tunnel vision? I guess let me see if there's an image. This is gonna look a little bit scary, so I apologize. You just lose like the center of your vision. That's it. Obviously it's not like, oh no, I can't see faces anymore. I'm sure if you move your eyes a little bit you'll be able to see the girl, but like the girl on directly you can't see. It's quirky. How about that? We can have age-related macular degeneration. So if we talked about central vision loss and this is caused by this, well, with age we can eventually get it. This is really the leading cause of untreatable visual impairments and legal blindness. I was like, is there a wet and dry form? But they're like, dry form affects 1 in 3 older adults, and 10% may develop a severe exudative form. Interesting. Smile and nod, smile and nod. They're probably not gonna even ask these questions. Smile and nod. Anyway, contrast sensitivity. So reduced sensitivity impacts spatial awareness and increases fall risk. Glare sensitivity, so it increases the sensitivity that affects functional skills such as driving. Falls risk, as you would imagine, if you cannot see, you are more likely to be able to trip yourself up. And unfortunately, a lot of falls happen in like a home environment or outside or whatever. And normally it's because they missed a step or they tripped over something, and it's a little bit wacky. So as you would imagine, any kind of visual impairment is going to be a very significant intrinsic risk factor for falls. And I felt like we talked about the types, so I'm not going to talk about that. Yeah, smile and nod, boys. Smile and nod. Wherever that comes from. Alright, so let's move on to hearing. So auditory. So hearing loss actually can affect or be as early as the 3rd decade of life. I feel like that's why a lot of people say like once you turn 30 it's just over or something. But things do start decreasing apparently when you hit the age of 30. So be careful what you're hearing. Make sure you're not listening to really loud stuff. Approximately 1/3 of individuals are going to experience significant hearing loss. There's a connection with hearing issues, so with dizziness. So hearing issues are related to 80% of the visits to primary care physicians for dizziness. And common hearing conditions. Oh goodness, they don't have any. Well, now none. Hearing you said that made me lower my volume on my earbuds by 2 ticks. Yeah. Sorry, gamer. If it's really loud, this is like my go. I mean, to be honest, I don't listen to anything loud. I again, I might have the fun sensory processing disorder where loud noises just really bother me. But I feel like if your earbuds, if you take it out and you can still hear the music or the sound, your earbuds are too loud, you know? But yeah. So as you can imagine, hearing loss, kind of stinky. Hearing loss can impair relationships because people get tired of you saying, what? What? And then they have to repeat themselves, which people can find annoying, which, you know, obviously it's not your fault. It's just... there could be reduced opportunities, it could compromise safety, and it really just diminishes the quality of life. So with that, we're gonna move on to Unit 3. We are on page 14 still. I feel like we've never left. Page 14 out of 55, and again, we're gonna get more tables, and we're gonna talk about, we talked about all like the physical characteristics, now we're gonna talk more about like the mental, aka the psychosocial. Sometimes I use my earbuds to drown out the volume of party's music. Honestly, I feel that. Oh no! Last concert I went to made me buy a pack of earbuds because my poor ears were cracking. I'm sorry. I feel like that's becoming more and more popular, having like earbuds at a concert to help like reduce that sound, because sometimes it is too loud. I had you know, I actually had earbuds to go to Yeehaw Land, but I forgot them at home. So thankfully I have these earbuds that I've been using for the past few years that I really enjoy and like, and I just like sleeping with them because unfortunately in Casa de Baz there's some very late night people, or people who like playing drums at like 10 p.m. So I'm like, huh, interesting. I have work. I knew this was gonna happen. This is why I brought these earbuds to sleep with. But it all worked out. Deja booty. Anyway, so for psychosocial changes with aging, for the cognitive continuum for our brain, age-related changes range from normal aging to, well, mild cognitive impairment, or MCI, to stages of dementia. So I feel like I'm going to be skipping ahead. So basically, as you age, to sum up a few portions of this, you do have memory loss. Memory loss is not going to equal dementia. Dementia is a whole nother condition that we'll definitely get into more. But your body does slow down, so you're going to have a slowed memory process. But your memories will be intact. They'll just be like, hey, can we do a little bit of like active recall? Hey, do you remember back in 1976? And it's like, oh, that's been a while. Oh, you know, stuff like that. So when you have dementia, as I mentioned, it is pretty much a condition, and it can vary from mild cognitive impairments to, well, the stages of dementia. So mild cognitive impairment, or MCI, is going to be a pathological change. It's not a part of normal aging. And the diagnosis is going to start with subjective complaints of memory impairment. So what we do in the clinic is that we like to do is the person like aware of, aware of person, time, and place. So do they know who they are? Do they know where they are? Do they know what time it is, what the day is? A very fun question we like asking people for whatever reason, because I feel like it's a little bit more consistent, is who's the president, basically. And my professors have had some really wacky answers, so it's kind of like, okay, they're not really all the way there. Like, it's like, oh, Reagan. It's like, what? Okay, wrong. All right, you have some kind of cognitive impairment somewhere. We'll figure it out together. But yeah, Conan says sleeping with earbuds is so nice. I can't sleep without them anymore. At my last place, I used to sleep with them because a roommate was just loud and like stood up really late, and then my apartment walls were like really thin. So it was like a go-to. It just kind of sucks because these are not like, my earbuds are not like sleeping earplugs by whatever I mean. So sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I just feel like a small stabbing pain on like my chest, and it's like, oh, it's my poor earbud that somehow got to my ear to like my chest. I'm sorry. Just wake up. I've been laying on this for God knows how long, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, body. But yeah. So what are some diagnostic criteria we can have for mild cognitive impairment? So Well, diagnostic is complaint of memory impairment. There can be a gradual cognitive decline for at least 6 months. So it's not like, oh, this person forgot one thing at this one time. Get them! Get them! They have memory issues! Get them! No, it's has to be for a certain period of time. And there has to be some objective testing because you can't just tell them, get them! You have to actually take a test and be like, hey, okay. Hey, Kev, guess what? So, don't worry about memory loss. You want to know why? Because my memory, even though I keep saying my memory is not that great, apparently, according to studies, MCI is inversely related to years of education. So, and as an example, someone's memory who has, like, let's say an associate's or a bachelor's or some type of, like, college degree is going to be way better than someone who may have only completed up to the 6th grade. Or maybe someone who didn't get to complete high school. They don't have a GED or anything like that. So, yay! I think everyone here has graduated at least high school, so we got one up on the other hackers, I guess. So Alzheimer's is a conversation we have when we talk about memory, and older adults with MCI are at an increased risk of developing Alzheimer's. I feel like, we talk about Alzheimer's in just a moment. For dementia, because we mentioned it earlier, it is going to be a group of disorders that's going to affect the brain, and these symptoms usually impact the memory and language. There tends to be a global cognitive decline from previous status, so it's not just the memory, it's the language, it's the speech, it's the physicalness of it now, and that's all going to slowly deteriorate. So the impact of health issues is just that health problems can also affect memory and even normal aging. Unfortunately, I can't give you an example because he didn't give me an example, so we're gonna smile and nod and we'll keep on going. So focusing on dementia and aging, dementia is not a normal part of aging. However, the incidence of dementia is increased with age. Alzheimer's disease is going to be the most common cause of dementia. Can be caused for a variety of reasons, but Alzheimer's is going to be characterized by 3 pathological changes: from the amyloid plaques, the neurofibular tangles, and loss of connections between the neurons responsible for memory and learning. Unfortunately, there hasn't really been a cure for Alzheimer's. Early onset, I think it's like before 50, is very rare. And late onset is going to be the most common form, like after the age of 50. There is a genetic risk factor for late onset of Alzheimer's, but other risk factors that aren't genetic are going to be advancing age, it's going to be positive family history, a lower baseline IQ and school performance, so going back on that whole like education being inversely related with memory, and then also it's going to be the ethnicity, so whether you're African American or Hispanic, you tend to be more prone or more likely to get Alzheimer's. So my gamers, oh my gosh, so much happening. Wait. Hi Patrick, hi gamer, hello friendo, hello friendo, I hope you're feeling so much better. Patrick, thank you so very much for the follow, by the way. Welcome to the Cup Club. Welcome. Only English? Well, you can humor me in another language, but I personally prefer that you don't. I could speak very little Spanish. I'm learning, 3rd week. I only accept English or Spanish, sorry. Actually, don't even talk to me in Spanish quite yet. Only English, so everyone else can also participate and enjoy whatever beautiful words that you have to say. Hi, sir. Thank you so much for the head pats. Thank you. Wait, aren't you Hispanic? Why do you have to say that twice? Yes, unfortunately. Oh, I thought you were literally saying it. What do you call it? I thought you were just saying, like, aren't you Hispanic? Oh no, she's like gonna be more likely to get Alzheimer's disease. And then my conversation, I only speak a little Spanish. But wait, aren't you Spanish? Yes, I know, I'm ashamed. De nada though. English or Spanish? No, we're not playing these silly jokes. No, but I didn't know that. That's really cool. I would have never guessed. Oh, it's okay because I'm half actually. Dig through my Twitter. What? The results may surprise you. There was like a whole like ethnicity thing or something going around. And I was like, oh, I'll share my ethnicity. Why not? Because it's just funny being half and then being like bearcat, you know? You don't have a Twitter anymore? You know? That's the right decision. Huh? I didn't know that. That's really cool. I would never guess. That's me every 5 minutes. Thank you, gamer. Oh my goodness. Anyway. So there are some behavioral symptoms associated with Alzheimer's. So 80% of people who have Alzheimer's tend to be more agitated or aggressive. And 20% of people who have Alzheimer's experience psychotic behaviors such as hallucinations and paranoia. Care for individuals with AD should be interdisciplinary, so it's not just a physical therapist, but it could also be let's talk to your PCP, let's talk to your cardiologist, your neurologist, anyone. Really, our role is just to assist with activities to maximize functional abilities and slow the decline, as we will do everything in our best to slow the decline through keeping an active lifestyle. We'll modify goals and methods to accommodate the patient. We will use simple, repetitive learning methods. We'll focus on patient empowerment, safety, and enjoyment. And we'll build on intact skills and create new possibilities. But yeah. Half bear, half cat, half Hispanic, half I don't know math. Yeah, basically. Following. Yeah. I do have a blue sky. Unfortunately, I know it is under my Twitter command. But for the people who are still using both or using one or the other, I got you. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm reposting whatever I had just mentioned onto Blue Sky, so hee. Oh shoot, give me one moment, Cubs. Sorry, something happened at work. Oh my gosh. Anyway, not my business. Anyway. So delirium. Delirium, so pretty much what happens with this is that the hallmark sign for someone who has delirium, it's a sudden rapid change in mental function. Common complications of medical illness or surgery. Delirium happens in 50% of people who have a post-hip fracture or vascular surgery. And 70 to 87% of these incidences occur in the intensive care unit for older adults. Delirium may persist in 1 out of 3 individuals despite being considered short-term. So, smiley face emoji. I feel like there's a better way to define delirium. So let's go ahead and find that. A sudden change in mental state that can include confusion, disorientation, and hallucinations. Thank you so much. So I think the reason why it's brought up is because this picture right here, and we'll go ahead and review that just for funsies, you know? Use buffer. Oh yeah, buffer and something else I think people were talking about using. I was using something temporarily because I was like, oh, I really want to cross post my YouTube shorts, but I have like, I don't know how to explain it. I've obviously been studying a lot, so I haven't had opportunities to do video editing, but for the times I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna video edit, I do it in such small like bursts, not spurts. I'm like, what? And then I forget about it for weeks on end. I'm like, no, what happened to my goal of uploading like a short a week? No! But then, you know, there's not really much to clip when I'm like, delirium versus dementia. So I'll get better with it. But I think the website was buffer, so thank you so much for reminding me, because I'm like, I'll get back to it. So delirium versus dementia, vague thing is that delirium is temporary, at least for 2/3 of people. And dementia, unfortunately, even though it's not part of the normal aging process, that's going to be our memory loss. It looks like they have a little fun mnemonic of OCD camps, and we'll just keep going back and forth. Or you're so sweet. What the heck? Aura says, you're my hero, Tifa. You got this, gamer. You're my hero. Your continued dedication to writing and drawing art and just creating is... I was gonna say honorable, and I'm like... I feel like royalty. I'm like, yes, quite honorable. It's great. So keep up the good work, gamer. Welcome on in. Welcome. Like a samurai, yeah. Very honorable. But yeah, we only have a little bit more time, so yay, let's get to this. Let's go ahead and we'll speed run through this. Maybe we'll get to talk about one thing, and then we're already at like almost an hour stream, so I'm kind of like, huh? What? Huh? So, so the onset for delirium is going to be rapid hours to days. The course is going to be fluctuating. The duration is reversible and it could take up to days to weeks. The consciousness is altered, like they are not in the right mindset. The attention, not there. The memory, impaired, like active recall, like, hey, you remember what you ate for breakfast? Huh? Psychomotor changes is that they're either hyper or hypoactive, and the sleep-wake cycle is often reversed, so they tend to stay up at night and sleep during the day. Dementia, on the other hand, the onset is insidious, and so it could take months to years for this to occur, and the course is progressive, so it only gets worse, unfortunately. Duration is that it's irreversible, and it could take months and years. The consciousness, attention, often normal, the memory is normal. Psychomotor changes also not usually present, they're pretty normal. And then the sleep-wake cycle, they're often normal as well, so they sleep during the night and they're awake during the day. Let's see if we could squeeze in depression and elder abuse, and we'll go from there. You gotta work on healthcare? No worries, gamer. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much. I will stay strong, gamer. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So depression. So major depressive disorder. I'm losing my voice, so I'll just die, guys. Hold on. Thank you for politely lurking. I appreciate it. So depression is, as you would imagine, one of the most common things that older adults go through. And this can happen for a variety of reasons, but as you would imagine, the longer you live, the longer you see, and the longer you may not get to see others. So depression is a very serious topic when we talk about the elderly population. Depressive episodes have to last for at least 2 weeks, and it's going to affect their work, their performance of daily activities. Maybe they stop taking care of themselves, and really they don't have satisfying relationships anymore, not with their friends or family or whatnot. As you would imagine, depression can lead to poor physical health, and factors that are going to contribute to depression are medical conditions such as maybe a stroke, side effects of medication, maybe something from the chemotherapy treatment if they have cancer, and significant events such as death of a loved one. Even in older adults, the risk of suicide, the suicide risk does increase with depression, and that can even happen to someone who is an older adult. I feel like we hear a lot of I'm gonna sound so old saying this. Youth. We hear a lot of youth. Now I feel like a church pastor. With these like ideation of suicide and whatnot. You don't really get to hear 50, 60 plus year olds who are like, yeah, I want to do this. And it's like, what? The role of a healthcare provider is to do early intervention and educate the patient on their diagnosis, medication side effects, and when to refer to the appropriate team members. And depression screenings, basically there's some fun depression screenings you could do with someone that basically gives them a little survey and be like, please check this off if you feel like this, and if they score a certain amount, it's like, yes, you are depressed, you know. Pat Eric says, lol, I get back from getting water in here, so depression. Not getting called out now. Depression does affect people in different ways, so see. Congrats on your depression. Yeah, congrats. Ideation. So we can talk about elder abuse. So brief, this should be pretty quick, and then we'll get to pharmacology. Elder abuse is basically the intentional acts or failures to act by a caregiver or a trusted person that's going to cause harm or risk to a vulnerable elder. Types of abuses could be physical abuse, sexual abuse, psychological abuse, caregiver neglect, and financial exploitation. The impacts of elder abuse is associated with increased morbidity and mortality, especially in vulnerable populations. And the risk factors of those most likely to get abused are those who are 80 or older, the female sex, non-Hispanic black race, 3 or more medical condition, an outcome measure of MMSE with a score below 23, difficulty with stairs, depressive symptoms, and someone who may have a social network of less than 2. The increased likelihood of abuse. Huh? Okay, so if you have any of these risk factors above, if you have like 3 or 4, you're nearly 4 times more likely to experience abuse. If you have 5 or more, however, you're 26 times more likely to experience abuse. Healthcare utilization, elder abuse is that, of course, that those who are getting abused, maybe especially physically, use healthcare systems more or healthcare services more often. They go to the ER, they get hospitalized, they go to nursing homes, they go to a hospice. It's like, ooh, I fell. I don't want to report that my grandson had pushed me off intentionally, you know? Oh, I think things got confused in the tables. Teehee, haha, ho ho. That makes you so sad. It's really like shocking to be like, oh my goodness, what are we doing? But there are some very, very, very evil people out there. So it's really important why we even bring this up in the first place is to bring attention to it. It's to ensure that, hey, if we see signs of abuse or something that's not right, we can get this individual help, you know? A social networking of less than 2 looks at your likes and your posts. Oof. No, like what happens is just more like you don't really have anyone else to turn to. You have like, I don't know. I have 2 friends. I mean, I have 2 main friends that I talk to, so I'm just like, So I'm just like, anyway. So, Cubs, we're gonna actually go ahead and I think this is, how do you call it? This is all just saying like, hey, older people also have sexuality. I mean, sexuality and expressing sexuality are important for the overall health and well-being of older adults, and older adults still can do stuff like this. And that's basically what the end of the table is saying. And so we'll go ahead and we'll move on to pharmacology stuff. Right now, 3-minute ad is going to play, so please use this time to stand up and stretch, hydrate, and eat and drink something super duper duper yummy. I'm gonna go ahead and make some tea right now, so hopefully that can make me stop sounding so nasally. So I'll see you cubs in a little bit, okay? Be right back! Be right back! Be right back! Gotta get this pommel timer out. Be right back. Wow! Hi, Recap. Thank you so much for your patience. I have some tea, but it's too hot to drink, so maybe for the next Pomodoro. But thank you so much for your patience for the 3-minute ad break. Hi to every cup that came on in, and hi to every cup that's politely lurking. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the welcome backs. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, Dragon King. Hi, how's your day going? Gamer, I am so good. Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get back to it. So we're talking about elder abuse. It's not a very fun topic by whatever means. It wasn't really fun when what do you call it, when I had pediatrics. You know, every course has to touch on like some kind of abuse. So like pediatric abuse, and hearing some of the stories my professors were saying was like, oh, okay. Send you good vibes. Thank you, gamer. Appreciate it. Thank you. Alright, so what we're gonna go ahead and do right now is we're gonna move on to our 4th unit, which is pharmacology for the geriatric population. So we're gonna talk about different types of very common drugs and medications, polypharmacy, which is crazy, and all this other really wacky stuff, and we'll kind of go in and out from there, okay? Ta-dang! I like your model, thank you! Tara is the one who made my base model, but the outfit is from someone else completely. It's in my little card that I have right here, so if you're ever curious and want to check it out. Conan says I double-checked the paperwork and you need to drive out of town? No! Oh, well, that's like a nice Friday's Eve activity, right? Oh, wait, not Friday's Eve. Wednesday, midweek activity. A little bit different. How exciting! Nice about time. Welcome. I hope you're having a great vacation. I'm glad that you made it at the vacation destination safely, and I hope you're having a ton of fun. Thank you for checking on in. No, I'm just reading notes. Gamer, enjoy your vacation. Get out of here. Get out. Shoo. Feel like it's like go away. It's fine. Oh my goodness, what's your favorite part of your model? I don't know, actually. I like everything. It's very hard to pick one. Sorry, Dragon King. I don't know. My favorite part. Yeah, I couldn't choose. Sorry. Alright, so you're lazy, you don't want to leave the house? Brother, that's what I did today. So I had a package I had to sign for, the Hollow Life stuff that came in that I ordered from April. And I couldn't do the redelivery stuff from the website because it wasn't recognizing the barcode that they gave me. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, they hate me. And I was like, well, I could do this yesterday, or I could have done it yesterday, but I'm like, there's no reason for me to leave my house. I'm just gonna wait till tomorrow, which was today, because I go and work, and then when I go out, I could go to the post office after work. Yay! 2 in 1! Yay! But yeah, I feel, yeah. Try to see if there's a way you could stay at home. Be like, hey, job, I'm sorry, you know? Anyway. So, Beer's Criteria? Yeah? So, Beer's Criteria was made by a guy named Mark Beers in 1991. And basically, he provided a pretty gigantic list of medications that may be inappropriate for the geriatric population, and it could be inappropriate for XYZ reasons. There's one that I feel like I know off the top of my head, but I'm kind of like, ooh. Let me see if we can find an example really quick. You like how smooth my model? Thank you, gamer. I wonder if I can find one. Okay, cool. So just to reiterate really quick, the Beers Criteria that we see here is a list of medications that healthcare providers reference to safely prescribe medications for people above the age of 65. Healthcare providers use the Beers Criteria as a guide to do no harm. So I feel like I just saw a really cool like summary in this. Hold on. The Beers Criteria is a list of potentially harmful medications with side effects that outweigh the benefits of taking the medication. So, for example, if they were supposed to take a medication for allergies. Yes. Called bromine. I don't know. My goodness. I'm sorry. I know you guys can't see this post, but bromine. It can cause confusion, cognitive impairments, and delirium. So it's like, oh, but it's supposed to treat my allergies. It's like, no, brother. I can do this instead. And it's like, no. But yeah, that's cool and wacky, but that's Spirit's criteria for your baby. So with polypharmacy though, polypharmacy is what it sounds like. Poly meaning more than like 4, policy or 4 or more, and the pharmacy being still the drugs and medications that we're talking about. Polypharmacy can be caused by multiple medications, both prescription and over the counter. As you would imagine, if someone has to take like 6 pills a day, do you think they're really going to be adherent? They're gonna be like, damn, this sucks. And not only that, they have to take so many medications. Imagine the cost of each medication. So that's really spooky. I think they define polypharmacy. I want to say for whatever reason it's like 5 or more, but I swear someone had just said 7 or more. Yeah, polypharmacy is going to refer to when someone takes 5 or more medications, and that's already a lot. Imagine like the medications you cubs already take, or if you don't take it at all, imagine being like, yes, you have to take 5 pills daily, possibly 10, because imagine you have to take 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. It's like, oh my gosh, how do you keep up with that? So as you would imagine, the thing that's very important is that these healthcare providers get to talk to one another, because some of the medication that might be prescribed by the, let's say, cardiologist may not be the same from your primary care physician, and you may have these wacky side effects that occur. And I think we'll definitely talk about that more in a little bit, you know? You got until the 23rd, brother? No, don't wait. You got the holidays coming up. It's gonna get really busy and people are gonna be moving around. You have to do it tomorrow. Now that you say it like that, you have to. Huh? Trick says I thought the 2 I take was hard to remember. Yeah, honestly. Like, I already take 1 medication right now, and the only thing that helps me remember is that I have a timer, so I'm like, oh, okay. Well, hi, Sarah. Hi, Gamer. Good luck. Thank you. Thank you, Zero. I appreciate it. So as we get older, we can have an altered response to drugs, and this could be changes in the pharmacokinetics absorption, the distribution, metabolism, and excretion of the medication, or we can have some physiological changes to it. For the pharmacokinetic changes, what's going to happen is that there's a decreased blood flow and GI motility. And because of this, because of our as we get older, we don't have these things. Like, we had decreased blood flow, we don't have as good blood flow, we don't have good GI motility. It's going to reduce the effectiveness or the absorption of this, you know? Changes in the body composition can also affect the drug. So when you get much, like, again, we don't have as much fat when we get older. The weight, the body water, the lean mass, that's going to affect how the drug distributes and whether it's a little bit too much or too little, depending on where we're standing. We have 3 types of changes that we talk about when we refer to the pharmacokinetic changes. We have drug metabolism, pharmacodynamic changes, and the cascade effect. Oops. Sorry. Wrong. Wrong. Anyway. Guess I'll go tomorrow? Tip said so. Exactly. I said so. Go. You don't want to stress about it. Listen, already getting mail at the post office was so hectic. And I was so happy that even though I didn't want to do it, I went at a good time because everyone else was at the post office. And there was, I kid you not, probably 15 people behind me. I'm like, brother, the whole town is here. What's happening? I've never seen the post office this busy. But then I recall, oh, it's gonna be Christmas soon. Literally, I even saw a lady with like a giant cart of like packages. And I'm like, oh goodness. Good luck, post office employee. Anyway, so we talked about that. We talked about the composition. We talked about the absorption. Drug metabolism. So aging is going to reduce the liver's ability to metabolize metabolize, oh help me, the drug, and that's gonna lead to a prolonged half-life and actually increase the risk of the drug toxicity. So what happens is that, hey, this drug should be okay, but because of how our body's processing this through the liver, it stays a little bit more than it has to, basically. Hence the toxicity, hence the side effects that we get. So we have to be really careful with that and checking in the patient's liver health. For pharmacodynamic changes, we refer to it up here, and this is going to be more of the physiological changes. What's going to happen is that there might be a cascade effect. But what's going to happen specifically with these changes is that there's a sensitivity to the baroreceptors, vascular compliance, and the homeostatic mechanisms that's going to change with aging. So with the cascade effect, there might be additional medications to treat the side effects of the other medications that you have. Oh, you're feeling dizzy? Because of this medication? Oh, let's give you medications for dizziness then. So easy, right? But the more and more that you add to address like these side effects, then you end up on this path of polypharmacy, and then you just increase the risk of adverse side effects. So it's kind of like, what are you doing, you know? Medication interactions, again, can cause excessive side effects. Again, you can have dizziness from hypotensive medications. And if you're feeling dizzy and your blood sugar's low, or not your blood sugar, your blood pressure's low, etc., etc., hey gamer, guess what? You are a fall risk. You might end up actually falling, which is, again, not bueno for those in the geriatric population. Factors that are going to increase this is multiple disease states, lack of proper training, poor patient education, non-adherence to the medications that they're taking, or inappropriate medications that were in the Beer's criteria but was still given anyway. Other factors that are going to affect the medication is a poor diet, excessive over-the-counter use, smoking, alcohol consumption, etc. Common side effects that are going to happen with these medications are going to be GI symptoms. They might be sedated or tired, confusion, depression, orthostatic hypotension. So when they get up, their blood pressure drops, fatigue, dizziness, anti-chlorinergic effects. So I forget, there's like a mnemonic or something like that, but they get like mad as heck and sweaty and some other stuff. And extra pyramidal symptoms as well. I actually don't recall the symptoms, so I do apologize. But you won't ask that, so it's fine. Anyway. So medication strategies. Medication strategies for older adults is, we're going to help distinguish drug effects from symptoms. We're going to schedule PT sessions around dosage schedules. So what happens is that some people are like, hey, I feel better in the morning when I take this medication. And it's like, great, let's schedule your PT sessions for when you're feeling good. Would hate for it to schedule when you're feeling bad and then you're not able to do as much. We want to promote synergistic effects with drug therapy. We want to avoid harmful patient-drug interactions. And we just want to improve patient education and compliance. Here's some complications with drug classes. So here's some really common medications that you may be familiar with, or you know someone that may use it, or something that you may even use in the future. So, sleep medications and anti-anxiety. A side effect that's very common is the hangover effect. You feel very like, ugh, if that is the best sound to describe it. Levodopa, carbidopa, you may have an on-off phenomenon where basically you're good and then you're not good. Have like extreme good days or bad days, to my understanding. Opioids, you might have constipation, sedation, respiratory depression. For NSAIDs, like we were talking about earlier, are non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs, or like Tylenol, some of the over-counter medications, can cause GI issues or gastric irritation issues, or gastrointestinal issues, sorry, and ulcers. Statins may cause myopathy, which is basically a weakening of the muscle. Warfarin or heparin is going to cause hemorrhaging, so you're going to get hemorrhages, internal hemorrhages within you. Estrogen, that's going to increase the risk of osteoporosis and heart disease, that bone weakening when we talked about earlier about the bone hollowing. And insulin, for anyone who might be with DM or diabetes, you might end up hypoglycemic, which sounds a little counterproductive, you know? Gotta get that good balance in. But yeah, the role of vaccines in general is to avoid viruses and related complications in older adults. and understanding that, hey, the older that you live, the more at risk you might have to obtain a cancer. So cancer drugs are common. It's in older adults, making cancer drugs use more common. Oh goodness, sorry Cubs. So now we're going to move away from drugs and medications. We're going to focus on fall preventions. I'm going to go ahead and read some stuff out to you. He wanted us to really mix in some of the understanding from some of the stuff that we did in labs. So we did like several outcome measures. Outcome measures, by the way, it's just a way to assess like a baseline and then something that we can compare later. So it could be like a self-reported survey to a, hey, let's go ahead and do this activity and see where you score or how long it takes you to do this, or etc, etc. And then again, we have a baseline to compare for much later. So these, the first lab was all about fall prevention. So the Falls Efficacy Scale, or the FES, is going to be a self-reported measure to assess a person's confidence in performing daily activities without falling. The higher the score, the less confident the individual feels. Katie says, not me learning more about my meds from Tippa than my doctor and pharmacist. Brother, if you have any questions, let them know. I'm definitely not, like, I respect pharmacists. I respect anyone going into the super duper duper medical field. I'm in the healthcare field. I am not in the medical field. Yeah. Let me go ahead and sip really quick some tea. Hopefully it's cooled down. Please. Please. One moment. Still hot, but it's okay. Alright. So we have something fun. I actually did a little project on this. The ABC scale, or the Activity Specific Balance Confidence Scale. This is also a self-reported one that's like, hey, am I able to perform activities without losing my balance? And basically you score activities from 0 being no confident to 100% being full confident. We like to do something to assess gait speed. It can be various tests, but for gait speed, we do a performance-based measure to assess walking speed, and depending on how we do the math, this is how the categories go. So if they are 0.4 or below meters per second, they're going to be a household ambulator. So the household ambulator is just basically someone who's only able to navigate around their house. They only are able to do short distances, etc. 0.4 to 0.8, it's going to be a limited community ambulator, so maybe they can walk around the block. Maybe they can go outside to their mailbox and get the mail, and that's about it. 0.8 to 1.2 makes them a community ambulator, so they're able to walk around the community and do a good chunk of participation. But over or equal to 1.2, then you're able to safely cross streets. Like, you have a relatively normal pace, you should be pretty much safe for anything. Hi Cryptos, hi, welcome. Huh? Tug? Huh? Why is it such a difficult task for most VTubers? I might be missing something. But please humor me. But welcome on in, gamer. Welcome. For the timed up and go test, by the way, this is called the Tug. And this is actually a really easy, quick test that you could do pretty much wherever. All you need is a chair. And I guess a measuring tape. But, the Tug is a performance test where an individual stands from a chair, walks 3 meters, turns around, and returns to the chair and sits down. A score of more than 12 seconds is going to indicate a falls risk. 3 meters, by the way, let's see, because even me, I'm like, what is 3 meters to feet? 9. They have to walk about 9, almost 10 feet. Walk to that point of 10 feet or 3 meters. Do a little club penguin dance. No, they don't have to do that. And then come back to the chair. And if they take more than 12 seconds doing that, they are a falls risk. We can up the ante and do a timed up and go manual task. So this is basically the timed up and go, or the Tug test that we just talked about. But they're doing a manual task like holding a cup of water. So now, if it's 14.5 seconds or more, they're indicated to be a falls risk. We could do other tests such as functional gait assessment, which is going to assess your dynamic balance. We could do the 30-second chair stand test, where basically if they use their hands to push off, they get automatically a 0, but we see how many squats they could do on the chair or sit to stance activities. 4-stage balance test. This is going to be a test assessing standing balance and assessing them in 4 different ways. So it'll be like, okay, feet apart, feet together, and 1 foot in front of the other, I think, and then tandem stance where it's actually like 1 foot in line with the other. So like if you were walking a tightrope. Casual Club Penguin mention. It's just because every time I think of Club Penguin, I think of Teru's emote. You mean I have to get out of my chair? I know. I can't believe it. The physical part in physical therapy, am I right? But so hi gamer, thank you so much for politely lurking. I appreciate it very, very, very much. Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, alright, so we have the study algorithm. So this is going to be a tool from the CDC to screen, assess, and intervene to reduce falls risk. We have a Borg's rate of perceived exertion scale. So this is like a fun scale to be like, hey, I know you just completed this exercise. Point at this chart of what level you feel this exercise was. Do you feel out of breath? Like it's a little silly, but it's important. It can also apparently kind of give you a rough estimate what that person's heart rate was. There's other self-reported measures, and there's also other performance-based functional measures. So yay. We'll move on and we'll head over to lab 2 where we focus more on cognition. We'll talk about the various outcome measures from here. And we're on page 22 out of 55, so let's go! Speaking of let's going, you just got back from your second to last final gamer! God hecking congratulations, gamer, for almost being at the finish line. I hope your second to last final is, well, I hope it went well. I hope that you get the grade that you want or need or deserve or however you want to interpret my message. And that this next one you're gonna literally knock it out the park. I was gonna go like very high pitch. I was gonna pull a Mokoko. I was gonna be like, I believe in you! But it's true. You put in the time and effort to do stuff. So yeah, of course it has to pay off, right? Only natural. Welcome on in, gamer. I still have my last final today, and afterwards, I'm so excited to celebrate. I'm gonna go ahead and sip this tea really quick again. Anyway, so for cognitive, when we're talking about cognitive, we're talking about our brain power, our memory, and all that good stuff. So we could do a mini cog, which is just a really quick screening tool to assess memory and recall. This is gonna be doing a 3-word recall task and a clock drawing task. So it would be something like, all right, Cubs, I want you to remember Robert's red rectangle. And I'll ask you again after this, okay? Robbie, red rectangle. They don't normally have to be alliterations, but maybe I'm cheating. But I feel like those are like words we don't normally use. I don't remember the last time I said, ooh, rectangle, you know? So I'm like, oh, that sticks out enough into someone's memory, I hope. Yeah. But they would do something like that, and then like after 5 minutes we'll basically be like, hey, do you remember those 3 words I asked you for? And if they get like 2 out of the 3 and they have like a normal drawing, they're unlikely to have dementia. But if they're unable to recall anything and can't draw a clock, then it's like, oh, this person might have dementia. It's a really wacky thing. So the clock drawing task is that they just have to draw a clock. Like, brothers, I think we did this in 1st grade. Draw a clock. Don't talk to me about the current generation. I feel like an old person right now. Don't talk to me about the current generation who can't read an analog clock. Back in my day, I knew what the shorthand meant and the longhand meant. Heck, these digital clocks or something like that. I don't know. But they would have to draw a clock basically. And if they were only able to draw 1/2, that could be like a super bad brain issue. They have like left side neglect. It could be like something related to like a stroke. And then how do you say it? And if they're not able to draw it, then they just don't have that good recall. And it's like, but we all know what a clock looks like, so why are you having difficulties? And then it's like, oh boy, there might be something a little bit deeper underlying that we have to go ahead and assess. We could do the mocha, which is also a outcome measure. We could do the mini mental state. We could do a trial making test, executive function test, TMT test, timed up and go with a cognitive test. So you know how we just talked about timed up and go being that really easy task of getting out the chair, walking the 3 meters, 9 feet, and coming back. Now, this one sucks. This one is like, oh, you have to do a cognitive task, so we're gonna ask you to count from 30 backwards, or we're gonna ask you to do like the ABCs backwards. We're gonna ask you to do something, and you're gonna like count backwards from 30 while you're doing this task. And so if they score 15 seconds or higher, they're indicated as a falls risk, you know? Rebel says soon we'll have a generation who can't read digital clocks either. They'll just ask Siri. Ow! It's actually so sad because I've been getting posts now on my feed. I am no way related to the education system whatsoever. I roleplay as a professor now, but like I have no actual connection other than hey, I'm a grad student. But I'm getting posts like, oh wow, these kids in public schools are like right behind educationally. They don't have any skills of critical thinking. They just Google things automatically. They don't like stop to think of like, oh, what could this answer be? They're like, oh, I could just Google the answer. And I'm like, oh buddy, oh pal. And then don't get me started with the chat GPT of like answering stuff. And then I saw like another post going around where it's like, we should start shaming people for not doing like the basic stuff and using chat GPT to do it. Where the example was like, I understand the appeal of AI, like if it can make people's lives easier, blah blah blah. Once it starts stealing art, okay, yeah, all right guys, all right, we got it there. What the heck? But it's getting to the point that even in the Twitter post, the person was like, my sister wrote a thank you letter using ChatGPT, and I shamed her. I'm like, you can't even come up with the words of gratitude yourself to write to someone. You can't even express thank you from your own emotions. You relied on a computer system? Like, huh? I'm like, oh, that is really sad, you know? I can understand the appeal of ChatGPT to help condense and concise information, and anything other than that that's harming people, it's kind of like, oh, brother. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, timed up and go with cognitive tasks. Yeah. How genuine, brother. It's like, thank you so much for this. Like, it's so, I don't know. Honestly, you use AI as a last resort if that's okay. Yeah, as long as it's not art related. I understand the appeal. You could, just don't heavily rely on it. Don't say, hey, I'm just gonna enter the prompt and it's gonna write an essay for me. I think people losing these skills of being able to create or write for themselves or critically think is so scary. Oh my gosh. Anyway, geriatric depression scale, short form. We could see about if they have potential depression, which could interfere with cognitive and daily functions. And we could do depression old age scale, which is very similar pretty much about detecting depression. Aging simulation. So we're going to work on basically just very generic, general overview stuff of the geriatrics population. This was a really fun lab because my partner dressed up in what was supposed to be like old people get up and how they're supposed to feel. So they put like weights. Excuse me. They put like weights on the legs and arms. They had like a vest. They had goggles on. They had headphones over, so it's like to like show about the auditory, like the hearing loss and all that. And that he looked absolutely miserable. But he's like, I had fun. I'm like, oh, okay, as long as he did. So outcome measures we had to do was to assess their BMI, their vitals, the pain scale, the postural assessment. So they're like probably like around the shoulders, leaning over, and that's no good. We want to check their medications. Oh, he was also wearing gloves too, so we did like a really fun thing of like, hey, you need to disperse your weekly medication. Can you show me how you do it? I want to see how long it takes you. And because he had gloves and the medication were like Tic Tacs, it was like very difficult to have like this fine touch, and it's supposed to, again, simulate what an older person goes through. Vision screening, so again, we could do that Snellen chart. Manual muscle testing. MLT, we could assess the flexibility of muscles. To make sure that their assistive devices fit them, so maybe they're using a cane or walker, but maybe it's a little too low or too high. A very common example, but not really in this, how do you say it? not really in the geriatrics population, but let's say you have someone who like sprained their ankle or something, or they can't put a lot of pressure throughout their leg. You see a lot of people with crutches, and this could be like a huge like, ooh, America versus everywhere outside of America. I think it's very popular. Let's say America versus EU, because I heard the forearm crutches are very popular as an assistive device. While in America, the axillary or the armpit crutches basically are more popular. But I feel like the axillary or armpit crutches are the ones that get like the worst rep because people don't know how to fit them. Like it's digging into like the person's arm. They're like, ah, my arm is going numb. Like, yeah, no heck, Sherlock. You're literally compressing your nerves. Of course you're gonna end up like this. It needs to be like right here. You need to be able to put like 2 fingers between the crutch itself and also the armpit. So teehee, haha, ho ho. Cubsy, do you remember those 3 words I told you, by the way? Sorry, I hadn't been long enough. I meant to say it when I was done, and then I like sped run. Anyway, you don't have to type it. It's just more like, oh, okay, cool. It's quiz time. And Conan is posted my reading goal. Hopefully I did the form thing correctly. Brother, whatever you put is going to be so correct. So don't you even worry a pretty hair on your head. Do not worry, gamer. I just want to let you know, it wasn't like gunpoint emoji where I'm like, hey, you asked for this, so use it. I'm just like, hey, does this work for your needs? Do you want tags that work better for you? I feel like that channel is like free game, or that forum is like free game, so teehee. The back scratch test. Oh, this is so fun. Do I have MS Paint? Can I draw this very poorly? So the back scratch test, this is someone's back, right? This is their back. So now you have whatever. So what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to be able to use their hands. And they're supposed to be able to touch. So, does that make sense? Should I get like an actual picture, Cubs? Hold on. Back scratch test. And it's to assess your flexibility. Oh, this is a tiny picture, but you should be able to do this basically. You should be able to do B. Hold on. I could do B, but I'm like fingertip touching. But there's some people who don't have that flexibility, and they're more of A. Nothing like wrong. It's just like, oh, that's just something to work on. Teehee, haha, ho ho. Anyway, a screening tool for a senior fitness test that assesses upper body flexibility, particularly the ability to reach behind the back, which is relevant for ADL performance. You think you like the doodle better? The doodle has ceased from existence, but thank you so much, gamer. I was like, we need to indicate that this is the back. We got the mini nutrition assessment, so this is going to assess those who are eating basically and see if maybe they're at risk for malnutrition, and if they are, maybe a nutritionist needs to be involved. We have the PHQ-2 patient health questionnaire. We have the 2-step test, which is going to be really a simple assessment of the endurance by counting the numbers of steps the person can take in 2 minutes. We have the 4-squared step test, so this is exactly what it sounds. Think of like a plus. Think of like a plus, and basically you just have the person step into each of these quadrants basically that this square makes or this cross makes, and you have them like go clockwise and counterclockwise, and they have to do this like within like 15 seconds. So I think it's like one way 15 seconds, the other way 15 seconds, so yay. Time floor transfer test, so if a person's on the floor, how fast can they get to assesses a person's ability to move from standing to the floor and back without assistance. So they're standing and I'm like, okay, brother, get on the floor. And it's like, okay, how long will it take you to get back up? And this is going to assess their risk falls and if they're okay for independent living, because as you are familiar with, old people are prone to falling for XYZ reasons that we've already discussed. The most latest one being like maybe some polypharmacy, maybe their medication use. So yeah. We have the tug. We love talking about the tug. We have the 10-meter walk test. We have the functional reach test, which is another thing to indicate falls risk, and we have the mini best. Those are all just a bunch of outcome measures. It's just to kind of say, I'm so sorry, because I wish I could be like, yeah, let's do this. But I'm like, we have to speed run this. We're approaching the halfway point, thankfully. I'm gonna skip through this really quick, but I will politely read it. Hold on. It's just talking the muscles and the origins. Yay! Okay, we'll get to part 6. Yeah, you wanted to post so follow Drew. I never used the forum feature. Yeah! Honestly, the forum feature is so nice. I am a fan of it. I wouldn't replace my current channels with it, but like stuff with the how do you say it? Stuff like the Study Cubbies in Spanish channel. I feel like it makes like much more sense, you know? Because I feel like I feel like it's just better organization for the Discord in general. I would feel bad if I'm like, oh, this and that. Anyway, let me take another quick sip of my tea and we'll talk about how we can advocate for the older adult population. And really, a lot of this is going to focus on just their general wellness and health. So one quick sip. Okay, so what's gonna happen is that this follows the objective measures, and then I'm just like, okay, I organized it into these tables, so let's hope for the best. So in this objective, it has objectives. Sorry, I like blanked out for a moment. And the first objective of this chapter, because there wasn't really much to go off, let me be completely honest. Whatever he gave us again was just blocks of text that I just put in here, and I highlighted and I said A, LMAO. Some I did not highlight. So the objectives for this chapter or unit for advocacy was to advocate for the older adult population in a variety of areas to include wellness and health promotion, as well as Medicare and restraints. So for wellness and health, it's pretty self-explanatory, I'm not gonna lie to you cubs. But it's just advocating for older adults involves not just identifying health issues during community screenings, but educating them as well and their caregivers on wellness practices like exercises, diets, and mental health to promote long-term well-being through preventative care. So if we could address stuff as early as we can and identify these things, we could work on this, and being able to make sure that everyone is included in this wellness check is going to be great to help prevent other things that may occur as we, age. The advocacy for Medicare. Medicare is, again, a healthcare insurance that I believe is provided for those who are age 60, maybe 65, and older. And really, it's just advocating for older adults to have fair access to this healthcare services through Medicare, and addressing issues like Part B. So Medicare has a Part A, a Part B, a Part C, a Part D. And Part B is to push for more outpatient care. So not hospital care, but like outpatient rehab or outpatient going to like your doctor to get like these wellness checks. We want to push the therapy cap by pushing for policy changes to ensure continued access to necessary care. And restraints, I feel like we talked about this recently for some wacky reason. Was it yesterday? No, I don't feel like I brought up MS Paint yesterday, but we talked about the bed restraints and how in some states, if you have like in a hospital bed all of the like fences up, this can be considered a restraint. But really, the advocacy for restraints is to advocate against the use of it. Hey, not for anything. People are, well, people. And I know they're gonna do things, but I don't think we should start physically restraining them or doing chemical restraints unless like absolutely necessary. Some people kind of use it as a default or a go-to, which is not okay. So chemical, by the way, is like, hey, we can go ahead and sedate this guy if we want. And it's like, what? But yeah. We're gonna advocate against the use of physical or chemical restraints in older adults. These restraints can lead to injury or decreased mobility, and instead we want to promote alternatives like person-centered care and maybe some environmental modifications to protect the individual's dignity and their autonomy. Analyze the use of restraints in the older population. I feel like we just talked about it, but we should again consider the risks of limited mobility, the mental health impacts, to be like, yeah, I'm chained to this bed. It's like, what? It's like, that's your healthcare facility doing that? What? And complications, and we should seek alternatives like improved care, supervision, and technology before resorting to restraints. That is the last option. Our last but not least thing, again, there was not really a lot in this unit or chapter to go off. We're already going to be on the next one in just a moment. But the last objective of this was to demonstrate the ability to consult with the older adult, their caregivers, and family, and reflect on the opportunities for future consulting roles. So what's going to happen here is that we want to consult with everyone involved in this person's care, including the person themselves, and their families involved, to provide personalized guidance on health, safety, and care, while reflecting on future roles that they may, including advising healthcare facilities, creating activity programs, and advocating for systemic changes to improve the well-being of the adult. TLDR of all that, care for people, care for older adult, yay. Alright, so we're on 27 out of 55, so it makes me think, wait, where's the majority of this going? I'm confused right now. What? Anyway. So now we're going to talk about Unit 7, which is Geriatric Assessment, Tests, and Measures. Right now, at this point, I'm not going to lie to you, cubs. This is all fair game. Like, the whole test is cumulative. But Unit 6 and below, or prior, I guess, are stuff that was referred to in our midterm. Unit 7 to Unit 11, which we'll be talking about, are all brand new things that have never really been discussed or talked about outside of the weekly units and quizzes. So all of this is kind of new to I guess to the club at least, and I guess to me. Anyway, so one of the objectives in Unit 7 for Geriatric Assessment, Tests, and Measures is to defend the clinical value of valid and reliable tests and measures in rehab. So one of our biggest things that we love doing in rehab and just healthcare in general is this thing called EBP, evidence-based practice. So what we want to do is that anytime we provide an intervention or treatment, we want to provide the best available evidence and clinical judgment, hence the EBP, evidence-based practice. This is going to ensure that treatments are scientifically supported and that they're appropriate for the patient's condition. The really cool thing is that there's research every day and articles coming out so frequently that, you know, hey, one thing might have been like the good go-to for this person's treatment and this condition, but hey, 10 years down the line, hey, we found something that works for them better. And it's like, well, are you still using the thing from like 10 years ago? No, you should probably use the thing that's more recent. This might actually give them a better health outcome, and that's really one of our main goals. Hi Shadow, hi Gamer, welcome on in, welcome. Hi Gamer. But in addition, of course, it's like, yeah, we would love to use the newest and coolest technology always. But at the end of the day, we also want to consider the patient's preferences and values when determining a treatment plan. And as just mentioned, we want to optimize the outcomes of said patient through the effective interventions tailored to their needs and preferences. Also, what we value clinically is to be effective and efficient, because again, we do want to maximize the outcome, but we also want to be, you know, pretty mindful of the costs, especially with patients who may have comorbidities. Yes. Comorbidities is a reference to someone who basically has one or more diseases. So let's say maybe something that's pretty common is, hey, this person is obese. This is what is detected in their BMI, their body mass index, and they have a comorbidity of type 2 diabetes. Something very stereotypical like that, but that is a comorbidity. But we really want to ensure that the care is both effective and resource conscious. And really, there are some very, again, wacky people out there. This one's not as evil as the, elderly abuse, but we want to make sure that we are providing necessary and skilled intervention. We don't want to kind of throw it off to someone. These people, what insurance is paying for, is skilled intervention, and so that's what we're going to provide. We're not going to go ahead and allocate that care to someone else who might not be skilled or someone who may not be trained to it. So discuss geriatric assessment in terms of the ICF model, define comprehensive geriatric assessments including criteria, components, and elements. So the IFC model is something that has been kind of thrown around term-wise, I believe today, and I guess we never really talked about it. But the ICF model is the International Classification of Functioning stuff. And so this is assessing the person as a whole person. It's not like, oh, this is a person with a stroke. This is a person who we have to assess their body structure and function. We have to assess their participation limitations, their activity limitations. We want to assess what their home life is, what their background is, etc. So this is basically saying, what are we doing in terms of that? And really, it's just doing everything we've been doing in past courses. I'm sorry, it's like me assuming that you guys have been here with me, but basically you had. It's okay. When I graduate, you graduate, so it's okay, right? But a comprehensive assessment is going to identify the medical, psychosocial, and functional limitations of an older person to develop a coordinated plan to maximize overall health and function while aging. And that's all going to be a part of the ICF model, and this is the criteria, components, and elements involved into that. So how do we describe the role of a CGA in patient-centered care? So what's going to happen is that goals and interventions should be patient-centered. They always should be, whether it's geriatric or not. It should be patient-centered and individualized. So it makes sure that we are appropriately tailoring each of these interventions to the older adult's needs and capabilities. So what should this include? Because this is just a long paragraph of saying the same things. Is understanding that we can't just really give a generic number. We don't want to over or underdose anyone. We want to make sure something is appropriate. And when I mean dosing, by the way, I'm not talking about medication. I'm talking about their physical capabilities. We never want to assume someone is too weak to do something. You know what I mean? It's like, you're an old person. Can you just do like 1 set of 10? Like, no. The guidelines say you should be able to do about 2 to 3 sets of this. Let's go ahead and try our best. And if you need frequent breaks, let's do this. But I want you to go ahead and challenge yourself, because this is the way that you're going to improve. That kind of goes for everything. Nice. Anyway, so yes, so the patient-centered care should be, well, patient-centered and individualized, but it should be positive. It should be social, it should be functional, and it should be having health-related goals with often like lower priority. So basically, when we do these interventions, that sounds really cool. We're trying to improve the quality of life. So they're able to do stuff like, hey, I'm still able to go up and down my stairs. Yay, I'm so happy for you, random 80-year-old, you know? But unfortunately, yes, these can have some correlations with the remaining lifespan, but our goal as therapists is not to extend this person's life. I don't really think there is a go-to for that. They just have to make the conscious health decisions to see how that works out for them. So we have just a few more for this unit, and then I think we'll move on to the next one. You're gonna take a nap, gamer? No worries. You're still crashing for finals, brother. Say no more. I completely understand the struggle. Please have a good one, gamer. Have a good nap. Make sure you're comfy on the floor and that you set 2 alarms, okay? Just because Tippa said so. And so you don't oversleep. And I thank you. It's very surreal to be like, yeah, my final is tonight. Yeah, but thank you so much. I will take the well wishes. Thank you, gamer. Thank you. So next part is to discuss comprehensive geriatric assessment, including the criteria. Oh, here's the criteria and components. Did I? The first part was the ICF model. Here's the actual stuff. Teehee. So the criteria is going to be age, because there is a big difference between those who are 70 and those who are 85. Medical comorbidities, because as you get older, they're more likely to have them. Psychosocial disorders, so think about maybe this individual who might be going depression, anxiety or isolation. Geriatric conditions, so maybe because they're a little bit older, they may have dementia. They may have a high risk of falling, and we really just want to assess their functional disability. What are they able to do, and what are they not able to do? Previous or predicted healthcare utilization, so what previous treatment have they received? What is their prognosis to see what we're going to be doing in the future? Yeah. And considerations of change in living situations, so maybe they were independent, but now they might need to be they may need help. It's okay to need help. They might need assisted They might need to have arrangements for assisted living. They might need to be in a nursing home, or maybe they could still stay at home and they could have like in-home caregivers. Components and elements, so important that it's written twice in this really weird way, so I do apologize. It's going to be medical assessment and health status, comorbidity, conditions and severity, medication review of systems, so we want to assess like their skin. We want to ask questions about maybe like their GI. We want to ask like those red flag questions if maybe that's something that leads to cancer, like, ooh, have you experienced weight loss of over 10 pounds in this month? Are you experiencing night pain? Are you experiencing fever, etc., etc.? We want to also assess psychosocial assessments. We want to do we want to assess their mental or cognitive status. We want to assess mood and depression. We want to assess functional assessment of what they are or are not able to do. We want to see if they're able to do their basic ADLs, activities of daily living. We want to assess their activity and exercise status. We want to assess their mobility, the gait and balance. And we want to do a social, well, sorry, this probably doesn't go here. We want to do a social assessment. Like again, we talked about earlier, elder abuse. One of the risk factors is that their social circle is 2 or less people. They only have 2 people that they talk to. So we want to, assess that. We want to provide information to those around them, like their caregivers, etc., and help support their needs and provide resources if there's some things kind of outside our circle. And really, we want to do the care resource eligibility to see if they are financially okay. And spirituality, if that is something that they are involved with, it's something that is recommended to incorporate within their treatment. Sorry, I started giving up because then the list that I was telling you guys that I was dreading, this is like the list. This is literally me copying and pasting from that list. So I do apologize. It's gonna be a long list reading for a little bit. Aquatic, hi, welcome, gamer. Yo. Welcome on in. Welcome. I think okay, it looks like this unit still extends. The list! The list! And I didn't even do the list right because I'm like, huh? I don't think I did the list right at all. It's for whatever reason, I'm like, this is just easier to type rather than to like unbold and whatnot. No! So one of the things we want to do with anyone to make sure that they are safe at home is to do an environmental assessment. So we want to check their home safety and accessibility. So let's say someone's having issues with falling, but they have this big Labrador Retriever. Kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh, you have this big dog that you walk? Aren't you worried about falling? Alright, that's a thing we have to address and maybe work on. We want to assess their transportation. How are they getting to and from these therapy sessions? We want to assess their health. And we want to assess the primary diagnosis. We want to assess the history and physical from the PCP. We want to assess the history from the patient or the caregiver, especially if the patient's unable to talk or maybe they're not all the way there. Sometimes the caregiver can provide more accurate information. And we want to have those outcome measures. We want to have the pre-exam questionnaires, some stuff to give us like a very general idea of how this person's functioning, how we can compare it later. We have to see their ability for functional tasks and need for assistance. Yeah, isn't this sounding repetitive now? Anyway, we want to assess their fall history. Have they had a fall in the past year? After having incontinence, or they are either peeing or pooping themselves, they're having urinary or fecal incontinence. Pain levels, source of social support. Do they have friends and family to rely on? Assess any depressive symptoms, any vision or hearing difficulties. The durable power of attorney or advance directives, so in case they are unable to speak officially, it's one of those things where it's like, do you give permission for this other person to make decisions on your behalf? And let's say you have something serious, like you're in a coma or something and unable to respond. Here are some examples of tests. They have the short form 36, geriatric health questionnaire, etc. We'll go ahead and talk about this next thing in just a moment, but we have about 30 seconds until our 3-minute ad, because Cubs, it has been another hour. Right now we are on page 31 out of 55. My goal, as mentioned earlier, was trying to see if we could finish this within the next hour and a half. I don't know if it's possible, but we're gonna try our darn hardest. I don't know. Now I'm just making up words. My brain is melting. Ah. But we're gonna try to see where we could get to in the next hour. But please use this time to stand up and stretch, hydrate, and eat and drink something super duper duper yummy. I'm gonna go pet baby peas. Keep at it, but first break. Yeah, break. All right, Cubs, break. See you Cubs in 3 minutes, okay? So easy, so quick, so exciting. Oh my gosh, it's already here. So quick. Wow. Erika, thank you so much for your patience. I appreciate it very, very, very much. Thank you so much. We just got our 3-minute ad break out of the way. So welcome back to you and you and you. And hi to Erika that came on in. I'm on say hi gamer. Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, guys, for the welcome back. We are again page 31 out of 55. Can we finish this in 1 hour? My right itchy right eye says maybe. I don't know. I feel like I closed my eye. It's like a magic 8-ball. Oh, maybe. So let's get to it. So if you're just coming in, welcome. I'm cramming for my last final, so I can be free and play video games. I know that's a crazy concept. But we'll get there. Right now we're focusing on the geriatric population. We were just talking about basically the components of a geriatric assessment, and we're gonna pretty much go from there. So yay, let's get it to it. You got this in the bag, gamer? Thank you, gamer. I appreciate it. I hope to get everything in the bag. Very portable. So yeah. So identify tools to gather pre-visit information, including a SF, the short form 36, the APTA documentation template, and the geriatric health questionnaire. Oh, that's that. Anyway, examine the purpose and significance of assessment reviews as part of the comprehensive geriatric assessment. Select tools to screen older adults for cardiovascular, pulmonary conditions, metabolic syndrome, medications, incontinence, nutrition, and argument. Sure. Are these medical notes? Yeah, they might as well be. I'll say healthcare notes. Well, I feel like they're more medical than actually like what I'm studying, but it's important to know the well-being of individuals in a medical sense too, I guess. Bye, Freakertron. Hi, welcome in, Gamer. Welcome. Yeah, so comorbidity status, things we should look at is maybe the nutrition status. I don't actually know what. Mini nutritional assessment? Yeah, to make sure that. Sensitivity for this test? Oh my gosh, here, I'm sorry. There you go. Common comorbidities that you may see in an individual can be a nutritional deficit or maybe some kind of incontinence. Urinary is the most common one, so you can have them do like these short form tests called a urinary distress inventory or incontinence impact questionnaire. We're gonna move down the list. Oh my goodness, everyone's coming out. What the heck? I take a little 3-minute break. I close my eyes. I pet baby peas. I drink some tea. Like the cubs are here? What the heck? Hi, Perrin. Hi, welcome. Hello, Tipanya. Hello, Perrin. This is. Sorry, you know, I don't think I've ever read your full name. So I'm sorry if I completely butchered it. And Bormo, hi gamer, thank you so much for politely lurking. Same deal? Good deal. Appreciate it. Handshake emoji. Let's keep up the good deal, right? Anyway. So, what's really important in the geriatrics population is a medical review. We have the Beers criteria, which again is going to be that list for older adults who this is medication that is inappropriate for them because of the side effects that they can cause. We want to assess the purpose of medication. I think it's absolutely insane, absolutely mental when I hear people who are like, yeah, I'm just taking this medication because the doctor told me to. And I'm like, okay, cool. Do you know what it's for? No. What? So for a medication review, will be important to ask about the purpose of said medication and maybe some side effects that we may have some concerns with when it comes to a therapeutic sense. Maybe some of the medication side effects has a orthostatic hypotension, so we have to be very careful when doing transfers of, let's say, someone who is laying down on their back and sitting up, they're like, whoa, I'm dizzy, or like from sitting up to standing and they're like, whoa, I'm dizzy. I'm like, oh goodness, might be orthostatic hypotension, their blood pressure may be dropping, panic. Anyway, we want to assess practical problems with medication compliance. So if someone's like, yeah, I'm taking this medication, but I'm not like taking it every day. I just take it when I remember. It's like, okay, you're not being compliant to the instructions of the medication when it's like, yeah, take this in the day and the evening. And you're like, I take it whatever. It's like, what? We want to make sure that they understand the instructions, handle the package, and just overall take the medication. Excuse me. Why it's important to assess cardiopulm is we want to get a baseline of vitals and maybe assess any edema or like swelling they may have during rest, or well, not at rest. And we want to assess if they again have orthostatic hypotension or maybe exercise-induced hypertension. Maybe see if there's a metabolic syndrome. We want to screen their waist circumference. I don't think this is not supposed to be in here, sir. I guess he just stuck it in here. You love Beer's criteria! Me too! It's a list to identify inappropriate medications for older adults. Yay! But yeah, that's not supposed to be here. This is basically about like weight stuff, and they're like, hey, if you have a waist over 35 for females, then this, and then if you have over 40 for this, then you're at risk of XYZ stuff. Blood pressure, definitely something important to assess for cardiopulm, and refer for the lab for like other kind of results and vitals and blood tests and whatever to make sure that they're okay and clear for therapy. When we're talking about skin or the integumentary system, as we mentioned earlier, there's a lot of changes that happen with those, but we want to assess skin temperature, the color of the skin, the integrity, and moisture. So we talk about these two things with the Norton and Braden scale, which is going to assess the pressure ulcer risk or to assess their injury. In addition to this, again, I don't think this is supposed to be here, but we want to assess the oh my gosh. We want to assess the musculoskeletal, so the range of motion and strength, and we want to assess the neuromuscular, so we want to assess their balance, their gait, how well they're walking, and ambulation, if they're even walking at all. How are they walking? Are they walking with a walker? Are they walking with any kind of assistive device? That's something we need to clarify and assess. And also communication. We want to check for cognition, and we had multiple of those. Their learning style, maybe we should keep it simple. Maybe they're more visual. Maybe we could do a little combination of both. It really just depends on the patient's needs and their learning preference. Maybe they need a little printout. They can't just be told, hey, make sure to do these 5 exercises. Like, they need to see it as well. Maybe sometimes these at-home exercises for the HEP, home exercise programs, have like links to videos so they can see a person doing it. You really just want to cater to that. And language. Yeah, make sure you're not using jargon or anything like that. You know, very fancy words. I can't think of an example of a jargon right now, but keep it. What is it? I think I don't remember. Oh, it's so frustrating. I think when you're supposed to speak to a patient, and I mean this in a very kind, non-demeaning way, I think the idea is that you're supposed to talk to them on a 6th grade level. And it's like, what? It's like, yeah, no, you don't want to use anything more extreme than that. When we talk about, I guess, jargon can be like the integumentary system. And it's like, well, what the heck is that, you know? And it's like your skin. It's like, oh, yeah, I know the skin. I don't know this whatever word you're trying to say. It's like, oh, okay, cool. All right. It looks like we're doing some of the screening stuff again. We're back on lists. As you see, I must have given up. But we're doing more lists, baby! So list tech, here we go. Why you got me low-key interested in the medical field? Oh, brother, if it helps, I am more healthcare than medical, but brother, you pursue whatever you're interested in. There is so much variety in that field that you can be whatever you want. That caters more to your lifestyle and preferences. You just gotta look at it, you know? Why not? If this is something you're interested in doing, I say, hey, why not? Doesn't even have to be healthcare related. If you're even vaguely interested in something, I'm always like, yeah, go shoot your shot. Just do it. What's the worst that's gonna happen, you know? You live in regret? You never do it at all? Huh? 3 cheers for Liz! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Oh my goodness. So we actually talked about this before, about outcome measures that we can use to screen older adults for cognitions and depression, and we want to recognize social vulnerabilities in older adults. So We can do several tests. We could do 3. We could do mental mini state assessment, which has a fee, so we're kind of cheap. We don't do that. We could do MoCA, which is pretty popular, the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, or we could do the mini cog, which is easier, effective, and it's a very valuable tool that can be performed. And if it's positive, then you can send them out for a referral. So it's very quick because you only do like 4 things. Technically 2. Technically, it depends on how you count it. But all you have to do is repeat 3 unrelated words. So apple, table, penny. And after a certain amount of time, I want to say it was 3 to 5 minutes, really. They should be able to recall it. Also, have them draw a clock. And apparently, it's actually specific. You have to have them draw a clock and show 10 minutes after 11. So the clock is normal, they're unlikely to have dementia. If the clock is abnormal, they're likely to have dementia. As for the 3-word recall, yes, English, if they're able to recall all 3 words, then their cognition, that's within normal limits. Good for them. If they're unable to recall any words, dementia is likely. But if they're able to, recall 1 or 2 words, this is where you have to look at the clock and be like, okay, do you have dementia or not? Is your clock normal? Okay. Is it not normal? Okay, sir or ma'am, you may have dementia. For mood or depression, we can use a very self-appropriately titled scale, the Geriatric Depression Scale. It's very well validated. It's just 30 quick questions. It's pretty brief, and you can read the questions to the individual, or the individual can complete it themselves. If the score is 10 or more, they are at positive risk for depression, and a referral is recommended to most likely a psychologist to be like, hey, or a counselor to be like, hey, it seems like you're having these issues, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I wonder how the clock will work in the future now that many people don't read analog anymore. I know, which is crazy. I think that's mind-blowing. Don't get me wrong. I understand a push for the future, whatever. I think analog clocks should still exist. I think they're very nice. I think it's very cool. I think the dynamic of it is so cool. Like I feel like it's baby basics, I feel like anyone and everyone should be able to read an analog clock when they're very young. But it's very, I had my little rant earlier about it, but basically it's the idea of like a lot of I'm gonna sound old, but the youth don't know how to read. I remember running into like a TikTok short about like, tell me the time, and they showed someone this and someone's like, I don't know how to read that, and I'm like, what? That's crazy. Anyway, another mood depression scale we can use as a patient health questionnaire. This is a 2-question thing for screening for depression. This is actually apparently very similar to the mini cog, and it's a quick tool that consists of 2 questions to screen depression. I need to see what these 2 questions are. Oh, is it right here? Let's go! So we asked the patient, over the past 2 weeks, have you been bothered by any of the followings at all? Little interest or pleasure doing things, or feeling down, depressed, or hopeless? If you say yes to either, basically you're positive for depression. So I'm staring at you, Cubs. Huh? Rebo says you press a button and it tells you the time. It was a cool novelty in the 90s, but the future, it's a oh my gosh, it's a necessity. I agree. Laughs nervously. Oh boy. All right, referral to a counselor now. But yeah. So that's a very quick scale, and then doing that hand in hand with the mini cog can give you a general idea of their mental state. Depression is a sign of depression. Who would have thunk? But yeah, a positive one may result in performing a more thorough assessment. So yeah, I mean, hey brother, I've been feeling pretty down, but I also had finals like back to back, so sometimes this might not be the highest. It's reliable. It's pretty, yeah, but sometimes there might be a further testing that may be needed, and then with that, maybe even a referral to a professional who could provide further assessment and intervention, such as a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or a physician. For social vulnerability, vulnerabilities are going to be associated with aging. We want to figure out the family unit and basically understanding maybe there's been some change up in roles. Maybe they were the breadwinner, the leader of the house, and now with their declining health and increasing age, that can't be it. Widowing, maybe someone's married and now they are a widow because their significant other has passed. Awareness of their own mortality, retirement, and their position and influence. The what? Hold on, I'm gonna take one deep inhalation. Declining physical reserves, changes in income, less socialization in some, and really we want to go ask some questions with some of the outcome measures, because after feeling pretty much any of these, maybe we want to refer out to a social worker. Social assessments, as you would imagine, for older adults is crucial as they face vulnerabilities such as changes in the family dynamic, increased awareness in mortality, retirement impacts, declining physical reserves, income changes, and reduced socialization, all which can contribute to increased vulnerability. It's important to ask questions from history gathering, and these some of these factors can be assessed from an outcome measure of the geriatric health questionnaire. And many of these issues, like, listen, a physical therapist is not going to do this, but it's to understand and get a comprehensive assessment so we can work on that interprofessional collaboration and refer out if we need, you know? So let's go ahead and discuss components of screening of social factors, including informal support resources and spirituality. So for social assessment, some will hold very true to their heart about spirituality and their religions and whatever else, and they like to practice it daily. So spirituality, I like to associate religion, but it doesn't have to be. Spirituality, although a contested concept, is evolving and developing and can be defined as a search for meaning with or without religious adherence. As we recall, treatment should be patient-centered care and individualized. So, it's this again. Teehee. So person-centered care is responsive to individuals' personal preference, needs, and values, and guides all clinical decisions. Ask if there's any customs or religious beliefs or wishes that might affect their care, and really just respect and refer as needed. I'm just going to go ahead and read this, and I'll catch up with Chad in just a moment. Spirituality is an important aspect of social assessment. It should be considered in a person-centered care by recognizing the individual's preference, beliefs, and values, and incorporating any relevant... Oh, we just read that. Boo! Boo! No wonder I bolded and italicized. I read this. Boo! Look at her go. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. I'm still going. We're at 34 out of 55, but we have like a huge space here, so... Sorry, the formatting. So originally the study guide was a PDF that I transferred over to a Word document so I can get it into Google Doc. So sometimes there is like random big gaps and spaces, so apologies. I might be restarted. Huh? I think the cursor is a tiny me. It is a tiny me. It's me. It's me. And you can get it in the shop. No. I had a mini Tippa cursor for a hot minute. Teehee. Oh, sorry. You guys can't see it. There you go. I had mini cursor Tippa for a while. But it was how do you say it? Behind a paywall, but not really behind a paywall. I had it in my shop, and then I had to close up shop because I was wrapping up orders for the 4th years, and I'm like, wait, I still have free downloadable stuff that I could give people, so now it's back and out in the open, baby. Karma, I'm gonna kick your butt. Anyway, so for geriatric population, we want to describe the environmental assessments, including life space mobility. So we want to assess their home, how safe it is, and how accessible it is. Let's say if a person's having difficulty going upstairs, but there's like 3 steps to their home, then we can do an assessment called life space assessment, and this is going to be validated as an important clinical measure of community mobility, predicting death, nursing home admissions, cognitive changes, incidental independent activities of daily living, disability, and as a measure reflecting important changes in mobility after hospitalizations and surgery. This is going to also help assess mobility within the home and community and reflect on the quality of life and social participation. Yay! Hi, Garland. Hi, welcome, gamer. Go, go. Nyan, nyan. Welcome, Garland. Okay. So, driving. Primary prevention is to assess and intervene to prevent the loss of a driving ability. Secondary is going to be attempt to restore driving skills through rehab. And our third option is going to be tertiary? Oh my gosh. Excuse me. This is going to recognize the loss of driving ability, and we're going to help recommend alternatives so they can still get from point A to point B. Driving can be affected by various means. It can be due to their health, the medications with these side effects, the declining vision as we age, or cognition, so they're not able to make those choices and drive like a maniac on the road. Motor and sensory can definitely play a part of it. Maybe they don't have the range of motion or proprioception. They can't feel where their foot is or leg is in space, so how are they going to push on the gas pedal? And maybe they're a falls risk, so we have to go ahead and assess that tug score again. If someone is having difficulties with driving, we can refer out to an OT or occupational therapist and do a car fit like rehab program, or going to a driving rehab specialist, because I guess that exists too, you know. But yeah, really all in all, that's it with driving, and we're gonna go ahead and move on to this to recognize more functional decline stuff and read more lists. Yeah. Hi Nuclear, hi, welcome. Garland says nice outfit, thank you. Brigo's reading that, thank you gamer. I debuted this outfit back in Halloween. It was my little Halloween costume. Bro, we can gamble? Yeah, you can gamble. We have raffles during the BRB. You can raffle now. Yay. Hold on. The Reiki outfit, thank you. Alright. So we're still in the same unit of Unit 7, but it was split out in different parts. So I think now we're on the last modality. Yeah, we are. So the last one is going to be recognize risk for functional decline in older adults. We're going to go ahead and identify impairments and contextual factors contributing to disabilities associated with aging. And we want to make sure we select the appropriate tools to assess function in older adults. So we want to examine... Oh, congratulations, Aura! Let's go! You can't drive for health reasons, so this is neat. Yeah, I feel like the most common one I hear, sorry, excuse me. The most common one that I hear for like a younger population is maybe someone who's prone to seizures. So this is really, again, all really focused on geriatrics, so apologies. But I feel like with seizures is a very common thing for younger people to have. We can make a correlation with some of our pediatric stuff if you really want to, cause where we learned that people with autism are also more prone to having seizures. And obviously if you're having a seizure, depending on the severity, there's some people who have, I think, what they call like a mal something seizure, where it's basically like, I think what you see like in the media, you know, where they blank out, they're on the floor, they're seizing up sort of thing. And of course that's very unsafe to drive. People with seizures though, however, can eventually drive if they're medicated and they don't have a seizure for like a certain duration of time. I think it has to be like years, basically. But I'm not an expert. I just heard this, so I thought I could vaguely share the information. Yay! But no, now I'm like nosy. Hold on. Types of seizures. Oh, petite mal is what I'm thinking. It's absent, and okay, I shouldn't be getting to this rabbit hole. Ooh. Huh? JP says, I have a question. When you mentioned that the patient says they're having difficulty driving, are we referring to their motor function, their physical activity driving, or the cognitive part that seems to ignore signs and run lights more often, or to a degree both? It's damn, I sound like my professors when I say this. It depends. Everyone is very different in what they have. Again, it could be motor related. It could be that they don't have the strength or range of motion. It could be because, again, as mentioned, they don't have the proprioception. Proprioception is your sense of where you are in space. So if you close your eyes, you understand that, hey, you're most likely sitting in a chair. You could feel that you're in a chair. You know where your feet are. You know where your hands are, like with closing your eyes, correct? Some people have to be physically looking at their body part to be like, oh, it's here. I know this sounds really silly. It's like I would lose my head if it wasn't attached to me sort of thing. That like very silly saying can pretty much apply to those who have some issues with proprioception. So imagine if you have difficulties not knowing where you are in space just because you can't see something. Imagine not being able to see, you know, your foot on the pedal. And no, not for anything. I don't think you should be staring at your foot at the pedal. I think you should be staring in front of you, you know? So, yeah, that's a wacky issue. Physical activity, again, can be strength related. Cognitive part can just be because they're not in the right mind. They have memories forgetting, they get lost easily, etc. So unfortunately for some, it could be a combination of all of those, or it could be one or the other, but either way, it makes them really not safe for driving. And it just depends on what stage of how we should treat it. You know, hey, they have concerns that they want to continue driving to the age of 80. Great, let's continue to work on that and see what we could do. Oh, okay, they're having some difficulties. Wait, sorry, let me just scroll back up. They're having some difficulties. This has already happened. Their fear has come true. Alright, cool. We can attempt to restore driving abilities to rehab. And if they lost the ability to, like, drive and there's really no rehab that can help them out, we would just recognize the loss of driving ability, get to that part of acceptance, and basically recommend any other transportation alternatives, you know? For me, I could just take a test. Wait, for me, I could take a test and then I might be able to drive. I just don't think it's safe for me at all. I'm worried enough about just walking around. I don't blame you. I don't think... here's my hot take. Wow. I think everyone should learn how to drive. Now, do I think everyone should drive? No. So I think everyone should have the ability to drive in case of an emergency and have that skill with them? Yes. So, I understand. I have been questioning a lot of people on the road lately about how they learned how to drive. They are so awful. Even on my way home, I'm like, oh, these guys suck. Being very anxious and whatever, driving, you know, I can imagine how, like, anxiety inducing that can be. But yeah, don't go to Miami. Yeah, don't go to, like, anywhere that's, like, really, like, I feel like cities are, like, the worst. So yeah, but obviously, again, I think everyone should drive. There are some places, obviously, that do heavily rely on public transportation. So it makes sense that, hey, people don't drive. Again, my family's from New Bearcat City. They have trains, they have buses. There's really no reason for people to drive unless you hate yourself, you know? And the parking situation, brother, you know? So I get it, but I think everyone should be able or have the license to drive in case of, who knows, an emergency. But yeah, the meds I've been taking since I was a teen kind of disqualified me from driving, so that's out. I said hi, welcome. Yeah, we were talking about medications. We were talking about the effects of them, and I feel like I was mentioning earlier, I feel like for younger adults or younger teens or whatever, I feel like seizures tend to be like the most common reason why they're not able to drive. Obviously, I'm sure there are teens and younger adults out there on some like antidepressant medication that may have sedation effects. They make them tired or drowsy, and falling asleep behind the wheel probably is not the most ideal thing to do. But yeah. Okay, so we're gonna what are we gonna do? So we want to assess or recognize the risk for functional decline in older adults. So we want to assess the tools that allow it to. So examine the concept of frailty syndrome and the assessment of it. I am not familiar with this, unfortunately, at all, and it's kind of like, Tippa, shouldn't you focus on that? I've never heard that man say it, so I'm just going to keep reading and smiling and nodding. But yeah, operationally defined as meeting 3 out of the 5 criteria that indicate compromised physical reserves and function. So frailty? Oh my gosh, frail syndrome, please. I don't know why I can't add a TY to it. But it's going to consist if you have 3 out of the 5. So you have low grip strength, you have low energy, you have slowed walking speed, so maybe less than that 1.2 meters per second we were talking about earlier, low physical activity, and or unintentional weight loss. Because of this, you're at increased disability, illness, institutionalization, so basically going into a hospital, nursing home, etc., and mortality, so you're more likely to end up passing. If you meet 3 out of the 5, this indicates a physiological compromise in declining function. And while not all older adults experience it, awareness is key for prevention and intervention. So yay! So being frail and this frail syndrome is going to rely on this index, which is going to be based off the CGA. So we have our 10 domains of cognitive status, mood, communication, mobility, balance, bowel, bladder, nutrition, activities of daily living, what are you doing independent or not, and social resources. We talked about comorbidities already. Set goals. Yep, please go ahead and set goals to get desired outcomes and maintaining optimal function and quality. What else do we have, Cubs? Holy God, what the heck? Okay. Sorry, that's not a you thing. That's a me thing. That's a me like, oh my gosh, I hope this geriatrics test is very straightforward, but like, gosh darn it. Anyway, so unit 8, we're gonna focus on interventions we could do. So we talked about assessing and treating and what do we do, and if we see something, say something, basically. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and continue on. So unit 8 is going to focus on integrating PT examination findings, evaluations, diagnosis, prognosis, and plan of care with the selection of appropriate interventions to optimize functional independence, emphasize patient-client instruction, and or to promote health and wellness. So, oh goodness, list time. Oh, you're so good, gamer. Enjoy your lurk. So, PT select interventions based on, well, exam findings, an evaluation diagnosis that supports the intervention, a prognosis, oh goodness, I don't want to read that, a plan of care designed to improve, enhance, and maximize function. Factors that are going to influence the selection of interventions may include the severity of the current condition or the stability of the condition, if there's multi-system or site involvement, or maybe there's a pre-existing systemic condition or disease, the overall function, the physical function of the individual and health status, level of current impairment and probability of prolonged impairment of body function and structure, activity limitations, participation restrictions, current and potential living environment, individuals' needs and psychological and cognitive status, goals and outcomes, and resource constraints. For goals and outcomes of said interventions and treatment, we are going to select, prescribe, and implement one or the more interventions based on the goal and outcomes developed with the individuals. As a reminder, a goal is exactly what it sounds like, but a goal specifically in here, goals are the intended impact of functioning as a result of implementing that plan of care. Outcomes are the actual results of implementing the the plan of care that indicate the impact of functioning. Whoops. Patient-client instruction. PTs are responsible for the education across all settings of all individuals. The process of informing, educating, or training patients or clients, families, significant others, and caregivers with the intent to optimize outcome. Basically, everyone who's involved in this person's treatment is getting involved. And we want to make sure that we're educating them all the same so everyone is on the same page. Hi Apple, hi, welcome on in, Gamer, welcome. Hi Tippy, hi chat, hi Apple, welcome. I'm trying to speedrun this. I only have like 22 minutes. Such a cute outfit, thank you. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you, gamer. Alright, let me go ahead and sip this tea really quick and we're almost there, Cubs. Thank you for that. Thank you. Alright, sip water. Or tea, sorry, tea, I'm not lying. The honey kind of sat at the bottom. I didn't stir it, so I'm like, sweet tea, yay. Perfect. It's so sweet. Sorry. Okay. Patient-client instruction. So we're going to propose appropriate interventions and modifications for older adults, including airway clearance, assistive technologies such as wheelchair walkers, crutches, biophysical agents. I don't know if you Cubs are familiar with like the TENS unit. That's something we can help educate. Functional training, wound care, and manual therapy. So why are we so cool, and why is this a thing, and let's focus specifically on interventions and stuff we could do for fall prevention. So module 3 on this chapter is going to focus on the magnitude, how severe this problem is of falls in the elderly. So what kind of tea had you tripping like that? Literally it's just green tea with honey, but all the honey with green tea with lemon with honey. There you go. Complete sentence, I think, maybe a question mark. But it had such a tangy taste at the end. I was like, oh gosh. But it's okay. It's gone. It's past. The sensation's done. 1 minute, sorry. Anyway, so the magnitude of the problem. The reason why falls are so important is because 1 in 4 Americans, sorry, non-Americans, I guess not sorry, I hope you don't have the same statistics, but if you are over the age of 65 in America, 1 in 4 people in your population are going to fall. Every 11 seconds, an older adult is treated in the ER for a fall, and every 19 minutes, an older adult dies from a fall. This is a really morbid story, but when me and Ryan used to work together, and then we stopped working together because I found another job. Sorry, Ryan. She had told me about the story about this couple that used to come in and all that jazz, and I think they started bringing in their friends, and they were like an elderly couple, right? And what happens is that one day, one of the people who was a regular, I guess that's how you could define it, was a much older adult, took a step out and fell. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, is he okay? Obviously someone falling is not good. Yeah, we don't know what happened with that situation, but we could only assume the worst because Ryan said that they had never saw that person again. And I said, oh my goodness, that is so sad. Imagine like leading, like you're getting a nice like breakfast, lunch, and you're like, okay, misstep, you know? It's so crazy how life could just like hit you like that. Falls are the leading cause of fatal injury and the most common cause of non-fatal trauma-related hospital admissions among older adults. I'm not going to read all this to you, but 2.5 million injuries, more than $27,000 deaths. Sorry, I just saw the D. Deaths. The cost of injuries was about 40 billion in 2015. And basically the financial repercussions of all these falls, and with the age population growing, like the baby boomers and whatnot who are over the age of 65 now, now this number might get to 67.7 billion by 2020. Did it get to that? I'm not gonna check. So what are some risk factors of falling? Why are these old people falling, first of all? Well, let's find out. So for screening, we should ask older adult patients if they've fallen within the past 12 months. And really the history and context of the falls. I've heard multiple reasons why people fell. They missed a step, they tripped over something at their home, they slipped on something. The list can go on. That's why it's very important to ask the context. Or did you just randomly fall? Did you feel like you lost balance and then you're just like, oh, I'm on the floor? But yeah, we should always ask one question about the patient's perception of difficulty with balance or walking, and if maybe they had any near falls, because guess what? Yeah, it's really cool that they didn't fall, but did they almost? Is that something we should work on? For each patient who reports a fall or falls or reports difficulty with balance or walking, the physical therapist should screen by observing for gait or balance impairments. The patient reports multiple falls regardless of balance and gait impairments. The patient reports one fall and a balance or gait impairment is observed. Wait, what does this say? I think this is just saying to observe regardless. So for the assessment, we want to say like, oh my gosh, why are you falling? So we want to do a medication review. We just talked about the pharmacology aspects and the polypharmacy and the side effects and how that could affect someone's like perception and gait and balance, or maybe they're dizzy, etc. So we want to do a medication review with them with emphasis on polypharmacy, which again that means that this person is taking more than 5 medications and any psychoactive drugs. We want to assess the medical history with emphasis on new or unmanaged risk factors, such as osteoporosis, depression, or cardio diseases. We want to assess their body function and structure, activity of participation, environmental factors, and personal factors. All of this again connecting back to the ICF model mentioned earlier. So we want to assess their strength and balance. For gait, we want to assess the activities of daily living, their footwear, like chanclas or and sandals are probably not the go-to footwear, especially with someone who may have like ankle instability. It's like, oh brother, you need some sneakers. We want to assess environmental hazards, cognition, neurological function, cardiac function, vision, and urinary incontinence. I know this sounds crazy. I hope I'm reiterating this right, but urinary incontinence, UTIs, whatever, both of these concepts can make you like lightheaded or dizzy or something like that. So it's something really important to assess of like, oh my gosh, this. So what do we do to fix it? So we must provide individualized interventions that's going to address all positive risk factors within the scope of practice. We could do strength training, balance training, gait training, correct the environmental hazards, and do the correction of footwear or structural impairments at the feet. So with falls risk, there tends to be one of two things, right? So we have intrinsic factors that are going to influence the fall risk, and extrinsic. Intrinsic is exactly how it sounds, inside, more internal. So vision, we mentioned earlier, if you can't see, you're more likely going to fall because you can't see what's ahead of you. Hearing, there's a whole thing with vestibular imbalance with that. Strength, balance, medications, lack of sleep, mental status, and chronic disease. Those can all influence like your likelihood of falling. And for extrinsics, it could be stairs. Someone might take a misstep. Maybe the stairs are not like, maybe they're not even able to climb upstairs or go downstairs. Clutter, so they trip on something because they didn't pick it up. Wet surfaces, well, that's kind of self-explanatory. Loose rugs, cords, poor lighting. Like, so someone will be like, yeah, so I drank like a gallon of water before I went to bed, right? Mistake number 1. And I had to wake up at 2 a.m. to pee. Mistake number 2. And with the poor lighting, obviously, because you most likely can't sleep with the lights off, they were unable to see and they ended up tripping or misjudging when they went to the bathroom and they ended up falling there. So that's a very common thing and a common extrinsic factor. Hurrying and rushing and footwear, all of these are going to be extrinsic factors. So here's some really common screening tests. I'll go ahead and read that in just a moment and we'll keep on going. We're on page 40 out of 55 now. Piss Powers the man? Brother. Might give a little a pep to your step, but that's about it. So identifying common screening tests for falls risk, we want to do a medication review. We could do steady, we could do fast, we could do the ABC scale. Sorry, some of these are repeats from earlier, so if it sounds like I'm just reading stuff off, because I am. Falls efficacy scale, single leg stand, so making sure that they're able to stand up or stand on one leg for more than 30 seconds. If they are, great. If they're not, they're a fall risk. Functional reach. Sit to stand. If they're able to do 5 in less than 12 seconds, great. Timed up and go. 4 square step test. Tenetti's, Berg's balance scale, dynamic gait index, medical history, again assessing the history of falls if they had anything prior or if they felt imbalanced, psychoactive medications, if they need assistance with activities of daily living, fear of falling, and if they use an assistive device. There are some self-reported measures that they can use to assess for risk falls, and the performance-based function measures. This is basically saying if they score this, if they score that, if they score this, they're more likely to be, a falls risk. So examine the roles of education and exercise in fall prevention. So we want to provide education and information about transfer training, so getting from sitting to standing or laying to sitting, stuff like that. We want to help them with ambulation or walking with assistive devices like crutches or wheelchairs, wheelchairs, but most likely like a cane. Encourage activities, so even though they're afraid of being active and moving around, again, exercise, motion is lotion for the body, and we want to keep them up and going and maintain that health and ambulation for as long as possible. We could recommend some footwear, and we can identify and altered fall hazards at home. For the exercises, evidence-based practice stuff that we have to assess, we do definitely want to challenge balance. And it says for a minimum of 50 hours, which is crazy. We asked our professor, I'm like, do you want to challenge someone's balance for 50 hours? And he's like, that doesn't sound right. And I'm like, yeah, a week? Like, brother, when I go to the gym, and that's being very nice, I round up the time. I'm there maybe 3 hours a week. You know what I mean? What do you mean this person has to do 50 hours? There was really never a clarification for that. But it's fine. It's whatever. 50, like, see, challenge balance and in high doses, so they have to be more than 3 hours a week, and they have a large effect for a minimum of 50 hours. Like, Cubs, maybe I'm not good at time management, but the math is not mathing. Anyway. You could do a group-based or in-home programs. Having it to be moderate or high challenge balance exercises is what's going to really improve them. You can add a resistance component, so adding a little bit of weight or resistance. Learn about other risk factors and refer to providers as appropriate. We want to link intervention with risk factors and really just focus on that continuum of care. We want to develop programs that are ongoing so the benefits are not lost across time. Interventions to reduce falls is the multifactorial interventions. We must direct interventions to identify falls risks, so we have to minimize medications. Understand if maybe they're having a withdrawal or minimizing their psychotropic medicines and how that can affect them. We want to initiate customized exercise programs and really just cautious, as exercise may actually increase their falls or risk in those less physically active. There's a very popular thing that older people started doing called like pickleball or something like that, and I heard that pickleball has like the most accidents or something like that, because a lot of people who are sedentary basically are like, oh, that sounds cool, I could do that, and then they try to do it, but they haven't been like training or exercising or even walking for like who knows how long, and then they do this like pickleball stuff, and then they're like, ow, I'm hurt. So that's very fun. Give me one moment, Cups, hold on. So I had like a small coughing fit. I'm like, no, no. Anyway, we want to treat visual impairments. I mean, we can't directly treat them, but we could refer out. The research is mixed about our role of treating vision, but I think we should refer out. We're not optometrists, we're not eye doctors, we're not specialists in that realm by any means. We do want to manage some postural hypotension, and really what happens is that this postural hypertension tends to be associated with dehydration. Talked about the older population getting dehydrated very fast, very easily. Medications might play effect, and the autonomic neuropathy, so maybe the pins and needle sensation that they may be having. We want to treat with medication reduction, hydration, elastic stockings to help with that compression and circulation, abdominal binders, and just again assessing their medication. Yeah, we could finish this one up, and then as we hit almost another hour again. Let me look where we are. We're on page 43 out of 55. If I could finish it in 44, that would be great. But I actually, maybe I should take it easy today. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's kind of like, what, Tippa? I'm like, oh, you know, instead of going to the gym, I could eat like dinner. I could eat dinner. I can review some other stuff because my professor, oh god, he you know how I told you, Cups, that we had a 30-minute presentation? He's like, yeah, I've added, I think he said like 5 or 10 questions. I hope it was 5 because that's... Oh, anyway, he added 5 questions from the presentation, he said. So he's like, oh yeah, your group presentations, I hope you guys were paying attention. I've uploaded all of them, but some questions are going to come from that. So be ready. And I'm like, huh? What? So it gives me some time to look at that too. Unfortunately, I can't really look at that with you, Cubs, because it will dox people's names and the university, and I mean, we already know the university is Bearcat University, but like, you know, just in case for those who don't. So I'm not sad, but let me see. It's because next week will be Christmas Eve. Guys. Anyway, it's fine. So managing heart rate and rhythm abnormalities. So what happens with cardiovascular disorders, that's going to be also really mostly associated with falls because of XYZ health condition or heart condition. This can be aided in with a little bit of vitamin D supplementation. Deficiencies impairs muscle strength and possibly neuromuscular function. So we want to go ahead and manage foot and footwear problems. Oh brother, hold on. Sorry, I highlighted this as a separate thing. It is not. Sorry. Anyway. Deficiency, impairment, muscle strength, and possibly neuromuscular function. We want to do position awareness because the positional awareness is decreased with older adults, that proprioception. So we want to recommend shoes with a low heel height and high surface content. And we definitely do want to make the modifications for the home environment. Screening of the home environment is followed up with modifications such as mobility aids. And a lot of these tend to be self-prescribed. People are like, yeah, I brought like a cane off like CVS. And it's like, what? Sure. But because they do this, it might be inappropriate or misfitting, and so it pretty much does more harm than good and they end up falling. Only 71% of devices tend to be, prescribed, and then here's the statistics of how it's used incorrectly, it's a bad length, or poor condition. There are evidence-based fall prevention programs that people have created out of the kindness of their hearts. So there's the Otago home exercise program, A Matter of Balance, Stepping On, Moving for Better Balance, Sail or Stay Active and Independent for Life, and the National Council of Aging website for more details. These are all programs that you might have locally that you can go ahead and refer to your elderly patient who may be having some difficulties with falls and being like, hey, get enrolled in this program, that's going to help improve their outcome. I know it sounds really silly, but to work on something or to improve on something, you just have to do it. So it's like, this person is falling because they have bad balance. Okay, cool. Let's practice balance then, and we'll work on that, you know? Yeah, when we come back, we're not looking at this, but we're gonna be looking and focusing on more Medicare stuff. So yay! Yay. Page 44 out of 55, we'll be focusing on this, and then life will begin. Does the streaming help with studying? According to my no, I'm just kidding. The streaming does help with studying. One, active recall, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, Cubs, this. Or even on the test, I'll be like, oh, I remember talking to Cubs about this. Some concepts need to be explained more into detail, and even stuff that I feel like a little, I might have done a little bit of research and been like, okay, Cubs, I can share this information with you. It's much better for me because I am a passive reader. I passively read, so I'll skim through stuff, so actively reading it out loud will help me catch every word when I'm able to speak it fluently. And so that really helps me obtain the information. I've been doing stuff like this, I don't actually know since. I want to be like, since the start of my program, I'm like, no, I don't think I even did that. Let's just say 2 years ago. I think I started 2 years ago, and I found out that this really helped me out a lot, so I'm happy with it. I haven't failed yet, so I will not fix what's not broken, basically. And plus, it gives me the opportunity to hang out with you Cubs, because again, if I was doing this by myself, I would be a little miserable. Of course, as you would recognize, sometimes studying like this can be a little bit slower, but this is just a lot of information to begin with in the first place. If it's taking me this long to read through it, imagine me trying to like skim through it. Like I would be cheating myself from that information, that knowledge. So I appreciate the Cubs hearing me on. Appreciate you hanging around. I know there's different study techniques that works for everyone. This is just what I found that works out for me. Of course, writing and repetition and all that would be really cool, but again, if I have 55 pages of notes, it's very, very difficult. Thankfully, all of this, as is usually presented, is review for an exam, so I've already done the writing or whatever else during the weekly units. So teehee, haha, ho ho, all active recall, baby. All review, baby. But yeah, speaking of baby and whatever else, alright, Cubs, in about a minute. A 3-minute ad is gonna play, so let's use this time to stand up and stretch, hydrate, and eat and drink something super duper yummy. I'm not gonna play the ad right now, but in a minute it should start going. I'm gonna go ahead and just put my gym clothes off to the side in case I become a crazy person and say, hey, I would love to go to the gym on an empty stomach. It's not completely empty, but I would love to go to the gym and work out and then have like 15-ish minutes. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that. So also, yes, please also fight off the blood clots. Please use this time to stand up and stretch, hydrate, and eat and drink something super duper duper yummy. I'll be back. See you cups in a little bit, okay? Da-dang. Go. Alright, Cubs, thank you so much for your patience. I do appreciate it very, 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 very much. We're gonna go ahead and continue on. I've come to terms with my life. Not really. But I've decided even if I don't get to go to the gym today, which is not a big L on my end because it's only Tuesday, my dudes. Or sorry, Tuesday, my Cubs. I forgot I could just walk around my community for like 20 minutes and get that mental health benefit of I did a thing basically, and then have enough time to still review over the group stuff and also eat something. So big brain, yay. I hope it works out that way, but that is my compromise with myself. It only took 4 minutes to decide. But thank you so much for the welcome back. Thank you. There's something I want to look up really quick, and I know it's like, Tip, you could have looked this up on your break. Yeah, I could have done a lot of things. Okay, hold on. I want to find something really, really quick. Oh my goodness gracious! Great balls of fire! Great balls of fire! Oh, someone is very cute for their little mnemonic. This is important. I pinky bear promise you, Cubs. Okay. So the next unit that we're going to talk about, and this is I believe our second to last unit because we have 11. Maybe we have 10. Big shrug. We'll figure it out together. But Unit 9 is going to focus all on Medicare. Medicare is a federal program for people who are considered older adults of 65 plus or older, or people with disabilities. And I forget what the disabilities have to be. I feel like it was like, I know one of them is like end stage like kidney disease, but I forget the other two right now. But the really cool way to remember why it's 65 is because it was established in 1965. And really, they just gave this to people because they're like, people are gonna pass away soon anyway. The life expectancy was about 70 years. But now the average life expectancy, according to whenever this was published, is now about 79 years old. As I mentioned, it is a federal program for older adults and people with disabilities. Originally, it was a fee for service, but now it kind of shifted to a prospective payment service. Now it's shifting to a pay for performance, where it's value versus volume, and there's now an outcome focused payment system. So there's many shifts of where it went. Now it's just like, what is the value we're getting from this to make sure this? And I'm sure many people could fight like, oh, this can serve as preventative, so this and that, this and that. Medicare is actually broken down into several parts. So someone made like this little thing that I'm like, oh, we can review this and then we'll go back up and we'll work from there. Okay, wish you the best on your last final. You got this. Thank you, Doughboy. Appreciate it. I honestly really do appreciate it. I'm just like, I just want this to be over with. politely I want this to be over with already. If I had a crying emoji, I would. Unfortunately, I forget what the emotions are. I forget what my emotions are. I'm like scared to press this one button. That's angry. If I could cry, I can only become transparent. Oh, that was me. I just want it to be over with. I want to have peace in my life. But after tomorrow, I'm free from work and finals, so yay. But yeah. Thank you, Roma. So yeah, thank you from Medic. What? Anyway, thank you from 2017. So there's a mnemonic for Medicare because it's actually broken up to Part A, Part B, Part C, and Part D. A is for acute care. I guess you could be very imaginative and say that A looks like a house or a hospital. And this is what Part A is going to cover for Medicare: hospital care, hospice, home health, skilled nursing homes, like very acute care. I'm going to sneeze, hold on. Brother, you know, this was the first sneeze in 3 hours, so I'm pretty proud actually. Danke. But Part B looks like 2 O's. okay, they're a little crazy with this one. Part B is for better. Part B is to get better, so you go to like all these outpatient care. So you could go to outpatient physician service, diagnostics, outpatient surgery, hospital observation, all these hecking betterment stuff, or I guess these 2 O's. I actually came here for C because I was curious of what they had for C, because I don't have a mnemonic for C. Bless you, thank you, Sunny, thank you, Pikachu, thank you. C is for companies. Medicare Advantage for private health insurances, companies to provide Medicare benefits. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I know C is like for combined of A and B, but I didn't really know how it played a part, so that's why I was really relying on this random image I found just a few moments ago, but it's not that beneficial. And then D is for drugs. Prescription drug coverage provided by private insurance companies with government contracts. So yeah, A, B, C, D. So let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit more. I'm not going to get into the numbers with you, but I will have to get into the days, I know. Anyway, so part Part A, again, is for acute care. So we have inpatient care and hospice. This is going to cover people, again, who are 65 plus or permanently disabled or on dialysis. These are typically prepaid by employment taxes, and these people have to be working for about 10 years. So basically you're like, wow, thank you, government. It's like, no, thank you for working 10 years before you were considered disabled. Smiley face emoji. Speaking of smiley face emoji, Ryan, hi gamer. Gamers, did you know it was Ryan's birthday 5 days ago? Have you wished the sleepy lion a happy birthday even though it's been 5 days? I think we're gonna stick with the what do you call it? It's her birthday for the rest of the month. Afterwards, she no longer has any excuses. No, I'm just kidding. But hi Ryan, hi gamer, welcome on in, welcome. I am painstakingly going through these pages of notes for my last final. And then afterwards I'm free. And then we could party on Saturday! Yay! Partying! Yay! So look forward to it. Yeah? Yeah. Happy late by 5 days birthday, Ryan! That's what I'm saying! Thank you, Cubs. Thank you for wishing happy birthday. I appreciate it. I'm sure she does too. Shakes fist into the sky. See? There you go. But yeah, I'm politely speedrunning this because I was like, oh, I really want to go to the gym. I want to join my 6 o'clock class with the, what do you call it? The exam's at 7. So I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't hate myself, and maybe I should, maybe, just maybe, I should, stay here. So, teehee, that looks like the plan. But yeah, we're just talking about Medicaid right now. So yeah, part A is for acute care. For daily coinsurance, it has to be like 61 to 90 days. Now I feel like they're just making things up, right? For lifetime reserves, it's about 60 days. For skilled nursing facility coinsurance, they have to be staying for 21 to 100 days. Speaking of skilled nursing facility, the requirements for coverage is that they must have a 3-day stay as a hospital inpatient first before they get transferred over to the skilled nursing facility. Because what's going to happen here is that, okay, Medicaid's like, oh, okay, cool, hospital, now it's a little bit more severe. Maybe they don't have that support at home. Okay, we're going to cover the first 20 days. So after 20 days, then they will begin to cover it in this manner. Part B, we mentioned that it was outpatient, so Medicare, yes, covers about 80% of outpatient care and any durable medical equipment one might need, like an assistive device, like a wheelchair, maybe orthosis, etc. I'm not reading these numbers. I'm so sorry. If you test us on numbers, I will take the F. Like, I'm not memorizing. Oh yeah, Part B, Medicare, deductible is $183. Like, you're so funny. Part C is the Medicare Advantage, so this is going to combine the parts of A and B about the acute care and outpatient care, and sometimes they may have Part D in there, and Part D we're going to talk about in a little bit, but that's more focusing on D, drugs or medication. So this is going to vary from plan to plan of what it could cover, but I think I've also heard that Part C of Medicare can also focus on continuum of care, which is why we see vision, dental, and wellness. Part D, again, prescription drug program, and it's optional with a monthly premium that varies from plan and income to make sure that the prescription drugs that an individual may need is covered. So unfortunately right now I'm going to go ahead and just read a list again. Multiple lists until we get to unit 10. So apologies. So we have something called the FI, or the fiscal intermediaries. Shiver me timbers. Anyway, the FIs are Medicare contractors that develop or adopt coverage rules and rates. We have the local coverage determinants, or the LCDs, and that's going to go ahead and be the decision by the FI right up here that help again develop or adopt coverage rules and rates, and whether to cover a particular service, so they help determine to whether a service is deemed reasonable or necessary. We have advanced beneficiary notice, or ABN, and that's going to be the provider must notify patients in advance if a portion of the care will not be covered by Medicare. For example, if they exceed the therapy threshold and Medicare was like, you're supposed to be like done with therapy like 5 sessions or like 2 sessions ago. It was the expected time frame that everyone else was better within this certain amount, but you're still taking like 2 more. Yeah, you exceeded the therapy threshold, so now you have to start paying out of pocket, so that's not fun. There are some services excluded from coverage, so that's another thing. And services no longer medically necessary, so you're kind of just doing it for funsies. Yeah, Medicare is not going to cover that. The patient signs the ABN, the Advanced Beneficiary Notice, to indicate that they have been informed about all the financial liability that they're going to have, okay? Going back to outpatient, Part B, specifically, we talk about the 8-minute rule. This is more for documentation purposes for me, rather than like, oh, cops, please know the 8-minute rule. But basically, if you do a skilled intervention for less than 8 minutes, you can't bill for it. The intervention has to last for 8 minutes or more. You could bill for 1 unit if it's 8 to 22 minutes. 23 minutes, you can go ahead and bill. 23 to 37 minutes, you could bill 2 units. And for 3 units, you'd have to do 38 to 52 minutes of said intervention. And I'm not saying like, oh my gosh, this guy has to do 8 minutes of sit-to-stand so this can be covered. But you have to give like a very understandable reason. So it's like, oh, this guy has some strength deficits, so we're working on strength and coordination, and so sit-to-stands is going to be a part of it, as well as like 2 more interventions, and for a total that's going to equate to like the 8 or 22 minutes. Great, that fits within that category of what they like in the documentation. So yes, you can bill for 1 unit, so congratulations, you know. Threshold therapy cap, apparently it's about $2,000 and $2,040, so cool, interesting. And yeah, they're most likely going to be oh my gosh, what? Hold on. They're most likely going to be audited if the threshold for therapy exceeds $3,000, a provider has a pattern of weird billing or questionable billing practices, the provider is newly enrolled, or the provider is part of a group that includes another provider whose claims were flagged for review. So value-based care. Value-based care is going to be for advancing the goals of the healthcare's triple aim. The triple aim is something we talked about more in admin, which is crazy to think of like the small relevancy of it. Triple aim TLDR is basically to be like, we hope we can make the American healthcare system better. So how are we going to do that? By tripling our aim. We're going to improve the patient's experience of care, so we're going to make sure they have a high quality and satisfaction of what they are receiving. We're going to better the health population. So we are improving the health of them. We are doing what we're supposed to do. And we're going to reduce the cost, basically, of healthcare. A value-based payment model is often referred to as an alternative payment plan. Oops, that's a whole new thing. And an APM is a payment approach that incentivizes providers to collaborate to provide high quality and cost-efficient care, which is going to apply for the triple aim. APMs can apply to specific clinical conditions, a care episode, or population, and this is all, unfortunately, or fortunately, gonna vary due to the location or setting. It's talked about here again, but I'll just talk about this in the appropriate order. The Medicare Access and Chip Reauthorization Act of 2015 establishes new tracks of payment for patients to do. So we have the Merit-Based Incentive Payment Program, or the MIPS. And this is when patients in private practices who exceed all 3 criteria must participate in this. And they're, oh my gosh, I'm not reading that. I'm so sorry. We have merit-based and we have alternative payment plans, which we just talked about. This is going to be shifting focus from volume to outcomes, and it's cash-based basically. If you're a participating provider, you must bill Medicare or Medicare covered services. Even if you expect Medicare to deny reimbursement for those, you still have to have them use a GA modifier or have them sign an ABN being like, hey, you still might actually have to pay this because your insurance may not cover it, but you're still going to bill them. If you're a non-participating provider, you can collect payment from the patient upfront, but you must submit a claim to Medicare. Then what happens is that the Center of Medicare Services is going to go ahead and reimburse it. But if you have no relationship with Medicare, you cannot provide Medicare covered services to those who are benefiting from, well, Medicare. I feel like I said Medicare a bunch of times, but that's all to say Medicare is kind of a hacked up system that it is really trying its best, let's be honest, but there's just so much weird complications to it. Universal healthcare, anyone. Anyway. Alright, so we are on our second to last unit for geriatrics. So we're going to focus on assistive technology. I've been throwing this word out and I've been saying wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, and that's really what it's all about. A lot of assistive devices. But this doesn't include just things that's going to help us physically move and function about. This can be a variety of things. This can actually be like applications and programs. It all really depends. So we're going to go ahead and read down the table and hope for the best, because that's all we can do during these trying times. So assistive technology is going to be defined as any item, piece of equipment, or product system used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of individuals with disabilities. This is typically going to be electronic or computer based, but it can include simple mechanical or mobility devices. What is the role of this in a geriatric population? So this is going to provide safety, security, and the ability to cope at home. This is going to allow us to promote independence and improve quality of life. It can also help individuals remain in their own home that previously couldn't due to the impairments. So what are some examples of AT? So some examples of assistive devices or technology, it's going to be tablet or phone applications, prosthetic joint control devices, specific hardware, built-up handles, suction devices, long handle extensions, and mobility devices. There's actually a really cool thing called telepresence, which is technologies that create a sense of presence of someone remotely. This includes robots with bidirectional live and audio feeds to assist with activities of daily living and decrease isolation. So some people who have money have a cool robot at home, which is actually a real person on the other side of it that's going to help them with whatever they may need to do and just really help with that isolation. There's a really cool study, which I cannot show you, Cubs, about the effects of isolation at the geriatric population, and quirky enough, they used very recent data from COVID, so that was very interesting to see of how isolation can really impact your health. Some people also use telehealth presence to collect data for vitals for healthcare professionals and caregivers. Adaptive equipment, however, is to be designed to improve the activities of daily living performance by altering existing equipment such as built-up handles or extension tools. As always, there are pros and cons of various things, so we'll go ahead and talk about that in just a moment. Hi Hachima, hi gamer, welcome on in, welcome. So the pros of an AT is that, yes, this assistive technology can be used in various settings. It can support caregivers, so it's like less of a burden for them. Provide solutions for care shortages, such as the robot that we talked about with telepresence. Enhance safety and promotes independence. Improve quality of life, and allows people to stay at their home, because at the end of the day, not for anything, if I could choose to stay at my home or a nursing home, I'm definitely staying at my home for as long as I can. Some of the cons of ATs is that the device might be obtrusive or noticeable. there might be stigmas for healthy individuals who use it because they're like, you're not disabled enough to use this, and it's like, but it helps them out, so why couldn't they use it? Lack of human contact may cause isolation, and really it's just a high cost. Really, these assistive technologies may not be accessible for everyone because I don't have like a robot butler. Nope, not yet. But yeah, ATs are typically funded through organizations, insurances, federal and state programs, advocacy groups, veterans administrations, and private pay. The concerns include accessibility and affordability for the geriatric population. So I feel like we talked about a lot about like an overview of it. So what is it exactly? So we have various types of ATs that are going to be used, and really most of them can be used for safety. So we have fall detectors, electronic sensors, video monitoring, door monitors, bed alerts, pressure mats, security alarms, medical alerts, heat and smoke alarms, hip protectors, cooker controls, dawn and dust lights, and smart floors. So these all sound really futuristic, but assistive devices can be both either low-tech or high-tech. And when I talk about low-tech, I'm talking about low-tech. We're talking about magnifiers, grab bars, reachers, chair cushions, cane walkers. We also have mid-tech, which I guess we could put here. We have the lift assist chair cushions, sound amplifiers, closed caption TVs. Because what? We have closed captioning available on stream. So if you're ever like, whoa, what were you saying, Tippa? I'll be like, oh, I was saying this. And audiobooks. These are all pretty mid-tech. And high-tech, oh goodness. We have digital hearing aids, computers with software, voice-activated telephone and devices, recognition and magnification software, communication devices with voices, use of mobile phone, tablets, laptops for the accessibility features or apps, cellular phones such as Jitterbug or All-the-Tech can be high-tech to help the geriatric population specifically, computers. We have mobile phone and tablets as we talked about above. We have one-touch dialing for stored phone numbers, auto answer features, a larger keypad button, headset speaker capabilities for hands-free communication. These phones and tablets can have bright and backlit displays to improve visibility, oversized display screens to support visual display, vibrating ringer for some of the people who are hard of hearing, they could still feel, and so that would be something to consider. Hearing aid capabilities, etc. And as for pill dispensers, we have specialized pill dispensers, and it's just simple. It's simple to complete with the technology. These are, again, just a machine that will dispense the pills that you need a day, and it's like, huh, make sure to take it, or here's a little alarm, make sure to take it. Bing, 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 bing. Alright, we're almost done. So we have environmental control units, or ECUs. This is actually going to be a type of assistive device that's going to provide electronic interfaces to control application devices that would otherwise be difficult or unsafe. Some examples of these are going to be telephones, bed controls, climate control, lighting, including curtains, so like on-off curtains, door controls, television, DVD players, radios, and other entertainment devices. These are going to be, again, electronics that these things are going to provide electronic interfaces to control application devices. The telepresence, again, we've already talked about that. Telepresent robots, we talked about that already. So professionals involved in acquiring an AT are going to be, well, AT professionals or rehabilitation technology specialists. These professionals may have degrees in the following: assistive technology engineering, assistive technology and human services, engineering, human factors and ergonomics, or physical or occupational therapy. You don't need to be certified, but it does help. So the Rehabilitation Engineering and Assistive Technology Society of North America offers APT certifications to recognize competency, and analyzing consumer needs, selecting appropriate AT devices, and providing training on their use. Yeah, I guess I can read this. So we have teams for this, and this is the team that's going to help anyone who's even interested in an assistive device. We have the assistive technology professional, we have the interdisciplinary rehab team, PTOT, a speech therapist, the patient family caregiver, seating specialist, rehab technology supplier, social worker, funding specialist, and augmentative communication specialist. that was a lot. So, as we progress, unfortunately, we are gonna hit our last topic, as you would imagine. Geriatric population can be a very touchy subject, and even this little bit can be a touchy subject to those as well, so I do apologize in advance. But our last unit, Unit 11, is going to be referring to hospice and end of care, or the continuum of care. So this is pretty much getting ready for the end. So when we talk about physiological changes associated with death, it can affect multiple systems of our body. We have the central nervous system, which again is going to be our brain and spinal cord, and as we're approaching death, we tend to have decreased alertness or may even resort to being in a coma. For musculoskeletal, we have weakness and loss of coordination. For cardiopulms, or our heart and lungs, is going to be an irregular heartbeat or decreased circulation. For the skin, it's going to be cool and sorry. It's gonna be cool and molten. No, the sneezing. I feel like that one was really close to the last one. No. Anyway, thank you. I'm tired, Grandpa. I'm tired. Anyway, for the skin, it could be cool and molten skin, and for the gastrointestinal, it's gonna be decreased appetite and difficulty swallowing, so they're not gonna be eating as much. For the progressive changes in terminal phase, what's going to be happening here is that it's going to be these progressive changes can be observed in the last 6 months, and what happens is that these people may have terminal restlessness, or they may actively, be dying. So what can we do with this? So it depends. So we have different kinds of cares we can provide. So we have hospice and palliative care. Hospice is for those who basically are diagnosed with, hey, you only have 6 months left to live. You're diagnosed with a terminal condition, and this is going to be covered by Medicare Part A. A palliative care, however, is going to be focused on the relief of the symptoms, but both are going to be requiring interdisciplinary models of care. So this is going to involve multiple disciplinaries to ensure that they have what they need as they proceed with the remainder of their life. Hospice level care, so there's multiple levels of care for hospice. So we have routine hospice care, which is the most common. This is patient-centered care at the home, so the patient does not need to leave. Someone comes at their home and takes care of them. For general inpatient care, this is going to be more for pain or symptom management in a hospital or certified facility. We also have continuous home care, CHC, and this is for about 8 to 24 hours. There is nursing care of the home, and it may include caregiver and a hospice aid service. So for 8 to 24 hours of the day, someone is there with them. Our last one is going to be inpatient respite care. So this is actually temporary relief for the primary caregiver. This is a 24-hour nursing care provided in the hospital or facility. So you might be wondering, hey, if someone has to take care of someone who's basically at the end of life and may feel bad for leaving, what if they want to go visit like other family or do a little vacation? This inpatient respite care is the thing that allows them to basically put that individual that they're caring for in better hands, to be like, okay, for as long as you're gone, we're going to go ahead and take care of them. We understand this is a very temporary service, and then you grab the individual when you come back, basically. So understanding the role of physical therapists in training a patient on hospice is understanding none of that, actually, but to provide supportive and skilled care. Some clinical issues or considerations for care is the role of exercise. So normally when we do physical therapy, it's the idea of like, we want to get you better. We're not going to get you 100% there, but we're going to try so you're functional. Like, the role of the exercise is more for how can we make you as comfortable as possible, you know? We still want you active and moving so we can kind of like delay the inevitable or delay other things that come with a sedentary lifestyle, but we're not going to be like pushing you or challenging you, but we do just want you to move. We have to consider the equipment and environment and other comfort care measurements. For pain and symptom relief, it's defining pain at the end of life and the prevalence of that pain at the end of life. We want to talk about types of physical pain, conducting a pain assessment, and doing anything that we can with the pharmacology aspect of it to help prevent that or control that pain. understand the role of hospice and palliative care in the geriatric client. So basically, we want to help with the pain and symptom management. This is all repetitive, so I do apologize. I don't know why that was copied and pasted from the study guide. Ugh. No! Where was I? I just want to do this. Okay, so palliative sedation. So there's an ethical framework for palliative sedation of like how do we treat them to make sure their pain and control is managed. We want to provide emotional and moral support. The support can also for patients. We want to support the patient, but we also want to go ahead and support the friends and families that are involved. And really the whole point of palliative sedation is to provide comfort care to prolong the quality of life with as little pain as possible for as long as possible. There are different kind of resources for clinicians to check out in caringinfo.org. You can go ahead and check that out for resources for those who are maybe in this wacky situation, basically. And it has different type of articles. So we want to go ahead and now move on to analyzing the role of the advanced directives in end of care. So we actually talked about this briefly, but advanced directives is going to give the patient an opportunity to have their end of life wishes. This is going to be known as, and this is going to be known to medical professionals and family members. So this individual is just like, here is basically my will, but more health related. This is going to be a legally binding agreement that the patient signs in the presence of two witnesses. And this can actually be changed anytime they wish and as often as they wish. This is going to give the patients an opportunity to understand the components of comfort care and provide extraordinary measures with a relatively clear mind. Because, how to say it? It's really scary, but when you approach death, there's really wonky and funky ways that your body reacts to it. So we want to make sure that we have this documentation as soon as we can when they're in the sound mind, or a clear mind, to make sure people know what to do when the time comes, basically. This is going to give patients the opportunity to decide who would make the medical decisions on their behalf should they be non-responsive or cognitively unable to make their own decisions. Oh. And we're done. Oh. Yay? Yay! Alright, gamers. I have 20 minutes to do the stupid. Let's see. Do I want to study? But I'm really worried about this exam, so maybe I should. It's so silly. Part of me is like, what if I like skip around? But we'll see, and we'll go from there. I will constantly fight my inner demons, but for now, cubs, I'm going to politely wrap it up. So let's go ahead and find someone to raid in just a moment. But I would like to thank every cub for joining me today. Today, again, it's a lot to deal with, for sure. But we can go ahead and do our best because this is our last final. I'm very happy to be celebrating with you cubs next stream, which is tomorrow. And hopefully life will be good, yeah? Oh. Uh-oh. Sorry, I'm trying to find someone to raid really quick. You got this? Thank you. You got this. Thank you. I do appreciate it. I'm just not like, what? I'm tired, Grandpa. I'm tired. I don't want to do any more exams, but after hopefully the next 3-ish hours, we'll be done. So it'll be okay. And then I can game without like guilt, which is very cool. A crazy concept to have, you know? Anyway. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to find who to raid. Someone's watching a YouTube video, so I'm like, oh, hold on. We can raid someone completely new, but looks. Oh, they're raiding! No! Oh, they look so cute. I have to keep their tab open. 1 more hour till the exam. Yeah, that's why I'm like fighting it off. Like, I'm like, I could go work out, and leave a little bit early. Like I feel kind of hungry and I have to review some other stuff, so I'm kind of like, maybe I skip the gym. This, you know what's the worst part and why I probably feel bad? One, because I know the instructor. Like, she's the very kind one who's like, oh, is your shoulder okay? And I'm like, ooh. You remembered after like weeks about like what I'm able to do with my shoulder or not. My shoulder, by the way, at this point is fine, but she was like very sweet of like following up with that, you know? How long is the exam? I have no idea. Probably an hour. I could definitely go to the gym later, but I wanted to attend that class because I really like the instructor. Oh, the devious. Oh, there's 10 people missing. So I just fit right in. Did I sign in or anything? No, because the list was full. But I got in and I got to work with the people who I'm most familiar with, because it's like a group workout, but then you work in smaller groups at stations. And then we had like a girl group, and these are like ladies that I'm most familiar with and that I see a lot, and we bonded, so it was very nice. So I'm glad I went yesterday. But yeah. The exam again, just to reiterate, just in case I didn't answer, I'm so sorry. I feel like my brain's like, ooh. My exam is in an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know how long the exam is for though. Probably another hour, so by 8 p.m. I should be free. Is there enough time? That's why I'm thinking I leave, or I don't do the cooldown, or I skip a station. I've done this once before, not in this class, but like in another class. But that's also because I didn't like the instructor that much. It was a little extreme, to be honest. So yeah, I may not give me enough time. That's why I'm kind of like, I'll just skip it for today. It's fine. I just feel bad because I might have to skip it next week because it's Christmas Eve, you know? I don't think anyone's going to the gym on Christmas Eve, so it's a little bit sad that I don't get to say like my highs or buys. But again, I'm still gonna go 3 times a week. I'm still gonna be able to go Thursday and Friday, so it's okay. It's okay. It's whatever. It's whatever. There probably wouldn't be enough time, so I'm gonna be a sane person. It's okay. I'll make the right decision. I'm gonna heat up my little leftovers. I'm gonna eat my like one little taco. Fill it to the brim with pico de gallo, sour cream, and lettuce, and that's gonna be the thing that's gonna boost me. I'm gonna do the exam, and then I can relax. Burn the Christmas dinner? I know, but like if people are like me, I celebrate on Christmas Eve, and we like stay up till midnight and whatever, and then we're like, oh, Merry Christmas, and then actual Christmas is like, what? So I don't want to burden anyone. I don't think they're doing anything, or maybe they're gonna do something like early on Tuesday, so yay. We'll figure it out together when they actually put the schedule up. Teehee, haha, and ho ho. But yeah. Let me not prolong the inevitable. I'm gonna use this time to go ahead and take care of myself, Cubs. So I really hope that you have a good rest of your day. And thank you so much for joining me. And thank you if you've been here for every how do you say it? For every study stream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it's over now. We're good now. Everything's okay now. So it's gonna be Daijou booty. So let's go ahead and find someone to raid. I do have someone we can raid who is doing some art, so that's really cool. I actually haven't raided them in a while. And in the title they said they're co-working, so if you like a little bit of co-working, they're also co-working and they're doing art. So let's go ahead and support them, okay? Okay. But yeah, Cubs. Feel free to join the Discord. It's the official Cub Club. On Thursdays we have anime nights, so we're gonna be watching Dan Dan Dan. We're gonna be watching Apothecary Diaries. So please look forward to that at 8:30 p.m. EDT. We are also going to be pinging when I go live, and you might catch me gaming later. Who knows? Smiley face emoji. In addition, though, please feel free to join because we are learning Spanish. We are on our 3rd week of Spanish Club in the Discord. It is not too late to read 36 pages, maybe 3 assuming that they're about 12 pages each, at 36 pages of notes if you also want to learn the beautiful language of Spanish, or Espanol. Feel free to join. We're doing like a little 30-week thing to learn languages, and if Spanish is not your thing, no worries. Give me about 30 more weeks. I want a little like in between time probably. And we'll get back into learning another language, and I would love to do the same thing but for Spanish. Teehee. Kyoto, hi gamer, welcome. Good luck on the exam. Though I doubt you need it, brother. I need it. I'm like SpongeBob who's dehydrated. I need it! I need all the luck. I don't know what's actually happening. I've been winging my whole entire grad program. Help! So don't worry. But thank you so much, gamer. I appreciate it. Good luck. Thank you, gamer. Thank you, Atomic. Appreciate it as well. But yeah, feel free to join the Cub Club. Ping when I go live. We have Anime Night and Spanish Club. Feel free to check out my schedule. I did put up my schedule yesterday for the week, so I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully around the same time? Question mark? I don't even know my schedule anymore. Let's be honest. Hold on. 3:30. I might be back sooner than 3:30 p.m. EDT. I just work with someone who's a little slow, so if I stream earlier than 3:30, here's your fun notice of don't be surprised. But tomorrow's gonna be a Cub Club Tuesdays where we go ahead and celebrate that I have no more finals, no more exams. My brain doesn't have to explode for the rest of the year, and we have a few weeks of, you know, free time together. So please look forward to it, you know? Yay! We're gonna have very interesting choices. I could give you a little bit of a spoiler about what we're gonna be doing. I hope I can say it off the top of my head. So for Cub Club Chooses, please expect games like Marvel Rivals, which I've never played on stream before, Overwatch, Balaltra, Infinity Nikki, and there was a fifth game somewhere in there. I pinky bear promise you. But those are going to be our options for tomorrow. So please look forward to that. If you have any of those choices, like yeah, Balaltra or something like that, make sure to put your vote in tomorrow. Teehee. Thursday, I don't know if I'm streaming. I'm gonna just say, hey, I probably am not streaming, unfortunately, because of the Sonic movie being placed at like the middle of the day or the middle of the afternoon, which makes it really difficult because I could stream really early in the morning, like maybe 10 or 11, but as soon as like 2 o'clock rolls around, I'm gonna be like, and I wanted to stream after, but then we have anime night, so I'm like, oh, that's also pretty short. So we're just gonna go ahead and smile and nod and say, hey, I'm actually not streaming. Sorry. And then on Friday, I have this at whoops. Hold on. Sorry, I like clicked away from my schedule only to like need to look back on it. Friday, I'm not doing anything in particular in the morning other than maybe going to the gym, but I think I put 12:30. Okay, I put that earlier than I thought. Okay, 12:30 p.m. EDT for some karaoke on Friday. So if you love the sound of my beautiful voice, you're gonna hear the sound of my beautiful voice, but singing. So if you like that, then great. So please look forward to it, as this week will be full of celebrations. And next week, because I also don't work, we are going to be extreme gamers. So we're going to start up some series and try to see if we can finish a series before school starts back up again. So please look forward to it, okay? Okay! Ta-dang! But you done well on everything else thus far, you goober? Brother, the imposter syndrome literally sinks in like a brick. Or whatever else is heavier than a brick. Hermosa. Gracias. Thank you, Sunny. Beautiful. So beautiful. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead. Or is that Harmona? Oh, brother, my Spanish. Anyway, imposter syndrome setting in. Anyway. So the schedule, the Discord, the socials, I have my YouTubes and TikToks. Let's go ahead and grab a raid message, okay? So if you're not subscribed, absolutely no hacking worries. We are going to do the Gao raid. We can use the bear emoji for the Gao raid. And if you are subscribed, thank you so very much for your support as always. Feel free to use the Tipanya with the Gao raid. We are going to be raiding someone I haven't raided in a hot minute. Unless they're ending, which I don't think they are because they are under an hour, and I didn't want to be cursed like, oh my gosh, what if they are ending? Dies. But it looks like we're good. They're doing some co-working, they're doing some art as well, so it's gonna be a good time. I think Sweetsrin is a cutie, and you cubs will definitely go ahead and enjoy her company. Hee hee, haha, and ho ho. But yeah, thanks for the stream tip up. Best of luck on the final. Yeah, thank you so much, Robo. Thank you. Raid already? Brother, what do you mean raid already? Look at my uptime. You can't see the uptime? I got you. What do you mean? What do you mean? I have to go, gamer. Don't worry though. You got your how do you say it? Streak. So don't worry. But yeah, we're gonna raid into Sweet Ren. So more? No, brother. I gotta go eat. I have my final starting in 1 hour. You hate me? You hate me. You hate me. Anyway, we're gonna be raiding into them. They're doing art. Sorry, I repeated that several times, but I just want you to know that they are doing art. Yeah, definitely do keep them company. Their art is super duper 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 cute. And say hi to them. Look, we both can't be crying, brother. I started it first. Don't bite off me. I'm a trendsetter, okay? Get some chocolate to stimulate that brain, brother. I will. I actually went to the Asian market and I got this chocolate that I like. I don't know what it's called. Let me see if I can find it before we get kicked out. Japanese chocolate. It's like in a gold red container. Meiji, I think it's what it's called. Very tasty chocolate. I haven't had it in a while and it's super duper yummy, so I will definitely go ahead and treat myself to that. I am not a person who gets spoiled. I can eat dessert before lunch, but I will try not to spoil it too much. Yeah, but super tasty. It's so rich. Oh yeah, you know it. Oh brother, I have to follow up with you on your Malta journey, by the way, if you ever found it. But I guess that's a conversation for later. Sorry, it's like the stream is ending. It's like, oh yeah, by the way. Anyway, lots of love to you. Catch up play. Catch you tomorrow for celebrations of no more streaming. Oh, no more streaming studying. I'm still streaming. I hope you cubs have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening. I will catch you tomorrow for a little celebratory. If I don't catch you tomorrow, hopefully I catch you Friday. If not, have a good weekend. Lots of love to you and bye. It looks like we're going. Bye. For the cubs who are still here, bye.